something I have to tell you. I went into the mists after my sword, but I found something else.
Refugees are pouring in from Alona.
If he kills an Elder Dragon, Tyria will never recover.
I cannot stand in the glory of Balthazar's light.
I will right this wrong.
I just can't believe one of the gods gave up on us.
They cannot escape my wrath. When I am done, I will be the only god.
Welcome to the Dungeon Crawlers Podcast, casting light on the depths of online multiplayer gaming. I'm your host, Aggelos, founder of the Dungeon Crawler Network, and with me this evening is the one, the only, your friendly internet neighborhood wordsmith. Oh my goodness, your friendly neighborhood internet wordsmith with content at far too many places to name. Just follow him over on Twitter at Ethan McVie, or you can find all of his content in one spot at errantpenman.com. So he'll stop making me read off this list. See, he changed that right before the show started.
Especially because it's so hard for you to read it, apparently. Like,
well, it's because I didn't read it.
Do the man a favor. Put him out of his misery.
Yeah, just absolutely. That would be Isarii. How are you, Isarii?
I'm good. I'm back in the United States, and I've got a little bit of therapy to deal with that. But for the most part, it's good. Burger therapy, as it were.
I saw your
Follow
Twitter.
Me on Twitter. It's mostly pictures of burgers this week.
Yeah, it made me hungry the entire time. So, but yeah, in my defense, he wrote up this entire thing, and I sort of have it half memorized. So I started saying it until I realized the words were different than what was coming out of my mouth. And I'm like, oh, crud. And yeah, so then I realized it. So also, that lovely lady sitting next to him is Simriel. Simriel, right? Hold on.
Yes, you got it right.
All right. I started saying one other thing, and then I'm like, wait, is that right or wrong?
Simriel something, just
I'll get it. No, I got it now. It's fine. I just was practicing earlier, and then I started talking about Isarii, and that always gets me flustered because of all of his random stuff he makes me change. And now here we are. So, how are you?
I'm great.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. I know this is
Normally I banish her from the room whenever I'm doing podcasts, so since I was doing a game she's actually pretty excited about, she said she had to come.
Very nice. And it's actually funny because I was about to say, this is the first time we've ever seen you on the podcast, but no, it's not. We kind of see your legs getting shoved out of the room pretty much every time before it starts, but that's all we've ever
Sometimes
seen.
She brings me drinks.
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah, so that's awesome. Thank you for joining us. The other one, the special guest that we have for this evening, she's awesome. Her name's Angelica, otherwise known as Kit the Traveler. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Well, thank you for coming on. So, before we get started, and we're going to actually jump on this, right at the start, because obviously, as you can see from all the flair that's going on right now with the video in the background, the little thing in the corner right there in the video, today's show is about Guild Wars 2. So obviously, there's a reason why we have our special guest on. So first off, Simriel, you want to tell us a little bit about you and you playing Guild Wars 2? Like, when have you started playing? That kind of fun stuff. A little bit of history.
So I actually started playing Guild Wars 2 at launch and have somehow still not managed to get a legendary because every time we start playing, Isarii decides to go for another game after about a month of playing. So
hey, at least I got Dawn.
This time I'm getting my legendary.
That's not entirely accurate. We usually get at least 2 months out of it.
What legendary are you going for?
I'm actually trying to get kudzu.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Cubs
longbow
is
that
pretty.
leaves the puke trails behind you?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not puke. They're
It's not
beautiful flowers.
Yeah, they're flowers.
I have sunrise, so it looks like I'm piddling myself as I'm walking because you got like, this little bit of like yellow liquid behind me all the time. Oh, it's actually supposed to be sunlight, but every time I see it, it kind of reminds me of I think I'm peeing through my armor, and that's what I'm doing, just leaving puddles behind. Yeah, and I actually glamored it off, or did my little cosmetic change because I got tired of looking at sunrise. So now I have sunrise. But it looks like the Gallant Greatsword that was one of the Black Lion chest swords because I like to
use
look
that
at
one.
that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's actually
It's a good one.
It's gorgeous looking. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
love it.
I don't have a legendary because I keep doing dumb things. Like this week, I bought all of the Balthazar weapon skins that I didn't have yet.
Okay, so that's where all your gold goes. I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just want to have matching weapons.
and liquidating your Mystic Coin, collection, which you would need for a legendary anyway.
Yeah.
That'll help. But I think maybe after this, I'll go for the crow staff because that one's pretty cool.
Ah, Nevermore.
If I use that on my
Nevermore's
elementalist,
really good.
there's no weapon swap, so the matching concern isn't there.
Yeah, no, I got you. All right, so Angelica, aka Kit the Traveler. The reason why I kind of want to introduce you is I know who you are. Sorry knows who you are because he's like, hey, I got Kit the Traveler. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome because I've known about you since like I started playing Guild Wars 2. Well, before it went live, I went back and played
Right.
Guild Wars 1, and so I kind of know a little bit about the history. And then also of your character through years of listening to podcasts. It was actually Guild Wars 2 that got me interested in doing podcasts in the first place. It was actually the game that I guest hosted on a few shows. Ascendants of Ascalon was one of them that we did a long time ago. And I don't even think they're around anymore, but that was I was on
There's
there.
a couple of them coming back.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they would be anytime there's a big announcement. That's kind of
Right.
cool because I need to fill up my podcasting list. But why don't you give us a little bit of history about who you are and why you're so special?
Well, I do a thing called basically give gifts, sort of, and quest adventures. It's originally started back in Guild Wars 1 from Nicholas the Traveler and Professor Yakington. Originally that was made by John and Liz and a few other people from ArenaNet. And basically they didn't transfer, because of course he's dead. He wouldn't be alive still in Guild Wars 2 because that's way too long. Even though Livia is alive still. But you know.
Mel.
But they're dead, so you can't really transfer off, I guess, them, and I don't know if they plan on bringing them back, so I kind of just took it upon myself, and just because I like to farm anyways, I started writing the quest, and then I started basically giving them out. I started off small on Facebook because I thought people would think I was a nerd or a weirdo, because I had nothing better to do, and so it was fun. And then it started growing, and then I decided to put it on Reddit like someone told me to, and then from there it blew up. And then I was like, okay, well, I have to express myself because I don't want people thinking I'm scamming them, because it started getting way out of hand where it's like my mailbox is always full or it's starting to be spam. And I didn't want like ANET to ban me because my account was just like sending things out. I didn't want them thinking like, oh, this is a Chinese kind of like the little farm site, gold site kind of things. I didn't want that to happen, so I was nervous about that. So I just gave it all out, told who I was, and then Ruby was really cool and brought me on before Heart of Thorns was released to do an interview with Liz and her. And we talked about it on there, so you can always, like, if you ever want to look at that interview and know more details about it, you can always look it up on YouTube. I think it's still on their channel. If not, there's people, if you just type in, like, Kit the Traveler interview, it should come up. There's also a couple other podcasts.
I've actually seen that interview, and I thought it was really funny that you had to tell people, like, do not send me gold.
Yeah.
I'm always at the gold cap. Send me items.
I actually can't
What a nice
remember.
problem to have.
I heard your interview too, but I can't remember what podcast it was. And it's gonna
It was on
Boons and Conditions, was it?
Well, it was that one in the Guild Wars Reporter.
Okay, Guild Wars
before they
Report.
broke off and made the host of Ghost of Ascalon or whatever podcast now, because
Host of Ascalon, yeah.
Yeah.
Those,
So I did an interview with them, and it was easier to explain to them on there. I was more nervous on that TV thing. I was just like, this is like, I didn't want to be shown. I kind of wanted to stay mysterious. But it was fun overall. Now the only real issue is I have too many people PMing me, and it's like people who are like into RP. So they're just like, are you really Kit the Traveler? Blah, blah, blah. And then like I have to play in character some unless it's people I know, and I'm like, like leave me alone, let me be for a bit. 'Cause, like sometimes it's hard to get space because people don't know how to separate the character from like me. So like, it's a gift and a curse at the same time because it's really nice. It's very helpful. I like bringing people joy. Plus, it's like if you ever played one, it was something to do. Like especially downtime, it gave you something to do.
There was a lot of that in
cool
one.
Stuff. Yeah, and plus I like to get cool things. Like if I got like a cool skin sword or, because I give like weapons, I give out baggies, I give out armor goodies, and it's not like cheap stuff too. Like people will send me low-end crap because I don't want to take something really big from you guys. I'll just be like, give me some copper ore, and then I'll send in back like 5 gold to 6 gold, sometimes higher. Worth, and they're like, that's so much, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, that's what basically Nicholas did. Like, you got a random gift. You could have got something kind of cheesy and cheap, or you could have got something really cool, like the skins and stuff that they had. So
that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And I didn't want to interrupt your story, but curse you, Zealot. I love Crown Crates donated 5 cents in bits. Thanks a lot, man. I have a hate with Crown Crates, so I got trolled by one of our DCN community. Not take the nickel and throw it at your head, Zealot. That's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and jump right on into this. So before we actually start talking about Path of Fire, for those of you who've been listening to the show, because obviously the Dungeon Crawlers is a podcast all about MMOs and online RPGs, those things that we love. So not everyone may know what Guild Wars 2 is. I mean, it's been out for like 4 years, obviously, because Simriel still hasn't got a legendary after that amount of time. So, I'm sure she's ticking off the time there. But let's go ahead and let's give a little synopsis for what Guild Wars 2 is, and I'm gonna actually let Isarii do this because he actually added this to the notes. So he does work, and then I make him do more work. So
yeah, it seems unfair somehow, but no, I got it. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what Guild Wars 2 is because it's a game that either most people have heard of, but maybe not everybody's tried, and a lot of people who try it, it just doesn't click for immediately because the way it is played is it seems similar to other MMOs, and then you get in there. And it's kind of a different experience. And it took me 3 or 4 attempts before the game really clicked as well. And I've talked to so many people who went through that experience as well. And so with the hype train starting to get back up to steam, I figured we'd sort of approach what is Guild Wars 2 from that perspective for people that may not have played it, as well as people who played it and just didn't really get into it that much.
Right.
Yeah. I would say, I think I'll just start from here. Guild Wars 2 didn't really hit its stride until around the release of Heart of Thorns. So if you, you'll hear about the living story, I think is a really good example. And if you're playing through the game from its vanilla story, you would be pretty baffled that anybody cares about the story in this game because it wasn't great. It had its moments, but mostly it wasn't very good.
I think it was because it was the start of their baby in a sense because they did want to distance themselves from the original game in a sense because they made it like 100 or whatever 200 years after.
250.
Yeah, so I think they were trying to start different, and then it kind of got wonky, and then now it's starting. Like you said, I agree. Like Heart of Thorns was like the bigger, like being a vet player and starting from the beginning. Yeah, Heart of Thorns was the step of like, here's what this game's about.
Yeah, and it's actually funny.
The Living Story Season 2 actually is where I'd say it really kicked off. And it's
the
just,
Scarlet thing was really good too.
I unfortunately didn't get to play that, but it seems like it seems like with the first Living Story season, they basically introduced a new, better cast of characters.
Scarlet was really good
to take over.
I like Scarlet.
There weren't that many interesting characters. Like the most compelling was Traherne, but everybody hates him.
I know, poor guy.
He wasn't compelling. He was annoying. I actually remember why, because I've been redoing the story on another character, and I got up to Fort Concordia or whatever, and he's all like, so I wonder if everyone's mad at me. Like, I don't know if I can be the commander, but can you go ask? He essentially played the middle school role of, can you go ask to see if they like me? Like, I'm like, shut up, Traherne. You're lucky I only eat meat. I did.
But yeah. And it's not just the characters either, but just the presentation is worlds better. The second season of The Living Story steps up a lot in terms of the writing and the fights and everything like that you're doing. But when you get into Heart of Thorns, and this doesn't sound like groundbreaking tech to somebody outside of it, and it's not just cutscene chatter. The NPCs are starting to talk to you and each other just while you're running around through the story instances. It just gets a lot more interesting, a lot more compelling, and it gets to the point where you actually sort of start to care about it. So
Exactly.
They went darker as well. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it was
definitely.
kind of cheesy up in the first part of like the core. Like, it's just like,
Until
okay,
some people started getting the axe.
yeah, right. I
Yeah.
mean, well, I don't want to
Yeah.
spoil too much, but I got up to the point.
Anything, so I'm like, well, I don't know if anyone's played the past or. If
I actually still haven't gotten that far in
I'm
the
like
other
trying
story.
to keep my mouth shut. So things
Well,
we
let-
feel like
let's
I heard. I'm
just
like,
say-
I was struggling at the same part you were.
Yeah.
People
Well-
who have played the Heart of Thorns story know what we're talking about.
I got up to the point where, like, I just got into Auric Basin, but that whole... I don't want to say it because I know a lot of people might not have done it, but
Yeah.
what happens there, and then what happens with, I can say her name, Fallon? Oh my goodness, that
Oh, yeah.
creeped me
Yeah.
out. I was like, this is amazing.
It reminded
Anyway,
me of that weird aliens movie. I can't think of it. Stormtroopers, I think, but like the weird like worm that sticks the thing in the brain kind of thing.
Dead Space?
No, it's like an old movie. I think it was Stormtroopers, but it's
Oh.
like the alien came out and sucked the brains out of the person's head.
Oh, Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Oh.
I was like trying to think. I was
Oh,
like,
that B-list movie. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
That's what she reminded me of. She reminded me of the creepy creatures.
Moving on from story, though.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to get through this section pretty
Yeah,
quickly
yeah.
and talk about the expansion. I think another thing that we saw like a crazy night and day step up in quality from was just the event design. If you're
Yeah.
you're playing at the beginning and you see the dynamic events, and I think you're like, this is kind of cool, but essentially I'm just kind of following NPCs around and grinding, and the world bosses, they've reworked a lot of them. But originally it was like, okay, a bunch of people zerg this thing down and it's dead, and there's not really mechanics. That's cool.
Yeah, now they have a break bar on most of the bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
and they've
top
really,
of
just
that,
number of
the
mechanics they've added is a lot. But I want to say like the Silver Waste, I think, was sort of peak open world design, where you have everybody in a map, but you separate them all constantly into manageable numbers, and they're all coordinating towards the same goal, and you sub them into little bosses with encounters. And when this came out and when it was new, people failed in this a lot. And
I hate you, Zealot. I hate you so much.
But it was a really interesting take that we saw them carry forward into the Heart of Thorns maps, which some worked, some didn't work as well. And it became, actually really good, really interesting content that you wouldn't know was there if you only played like the first 30 levels of the game.
Yeah. I'm fuming over here at this point. He's trolling me well. I was actually going to say, one of the things at the beginning of the game that I thought was really neat, that when you put in with these events, they're dynamic events, it was neat compared to what we had seen in previous MMOs, because there wasn't really quest. Only the main story was a traditional quest where, you went and talked to people. But a lot of it was you went out in the world, and when things were happening, you just joined in. At first, it was very novel. And I mean, obviously, we're limited, by technology. There's no pure AI, because if it did, it would rule the world like Skynet. So there's a certain level of scripting.
Yeah. Yeah. The AI, by the way.
He's
guys,
really trolling me hard here, and it's really hard. But
the AI and ability design was another thing that had a big step up with Heart of Thorns.
Yeah.
They brought in Dave Mark from Intrinsic Algorithms, who a lot of people know for working with Storybricks on EverQuest Next to help them out with their encounter design there. And you can tell it's not like it's gonna blow you away, but it just everything got a lot more engaging.
Mhm.
And some people really hit a brick wall of difficulty, which was funny.
yeah.
They've since smoothed that out.
I actually like the new meta system versus the metas from the original story, because like you said, we had the original world bosses, and at the beginning of the game, it was kind of neat because you didn't know when they would pop. Like, you thought like you had to do something, then you found out it didn't really matter. It was all timer based anyway. And I know like the other one's timer based, but you still actually have to, when it starts, you still have to do stuff to get the big bosses to spawn, and then there's multiple of them in the entire zone. It's I love doing Verdant Brink. It's one of my favorites, going up to try to take out the Patriarch and everything like that. I thought that was a real step up.
Verdant Brink, the Silver Waste, and Auric Basin, I think, are my favorites. And you're going to like the final map as well. It's fantastic.
I will get there soon.
The third map is the one that people couldn't finish when it came out for months. Because it was so hard.
Yeah,
I love it.
If you don't have the right stuff.
I'm kind of okay with that existing, but it was just really funny that it was such a challenge.
Especially for a game that, and what drove me away from it was its lack of challenge.
Yes.
They
figured it out. They figured out how to do it. Split people up and just have the entire map working on progressing the same event, but from different areas around the map. Yeah. And it works so very well.
It really does.
Take that Zerg mentality away a little bit.
So,
Zealot, I'm doing my best for chat room. Zealot, I'm doing my best not to talk about any story stuff for people. Like, I know Zealot actually just started. He's like level 31 or something like that, so I don't want to spoil story for him. So
maybe a little bit when we talk about the expansion.
but
nothing you wouldn't see in the trailer.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So the next thing that Guild Wars 2 does that's really unique is the progression philosophy, and I think this is a really important one. It is an all flat MMO, basically. There is level progression at the beginning, obviously, as you hit level cap. But then once you're level capped, you're level capped. They don't raise them in the expansion. And the game was originally levelless, but then during testing, they added it in because a lot of people felt it was too aimless that way. And I'm not sure that necessarily worked great. There was a couple things. A lot of people, actually back to world design for a minute, the heart quest that you'll see when you get into the game, where you just fill up the hearts doing events in an area, were another thing that were added to get some direction to the game. And I think people focus way too much on that when they're going around the world. People see it as like the quest that they have to do. And I don't know, my philosophy is to just sort of explore and you get experience for everything in Guild Wars 2. So I usually just work on map completion, and I don't really worry about what my level is relative to the zone, because if you out-level it, it'll just downscale you, and you'll continue earning experience and rewards that are relevant to you. So I think of the game as the flat progression that it originally was. I just kind of have to go in an order where I'm not outpacing the curve, which is not a problem at all. And then once you've 100% of the zone, you filled in the hearts by doing different events in the area. You've gotten the viewpoints unlocked. You've gotten, what else is there? Skill points.
Hero points, I guess they're referred to now.
Yeah, you're right. The hero points now.
There's points of interest.
Masteries. Little mastery chests.
That's right.
There's activities or whatever. There's quite a bit of things.
There's so many things that don't even count towards the world completion, like all of the jumping puzzles, which I went through just for the experience.
Jumping puzzles are fantastic.
No, they're not. They're the
like
worst.
If you're I don't like jumping puzzles. I have to have a mesmer carry me.
Oh, you just sit at the start and wait for a portal to pop. I know you're type.
Some of them are pretty bad. Like the Lion's Arch jumping puzzle, I did that one with a mesmer, and I don't.
I've done it too. There's also one in the world zone, like the central.
The Silver Waste.
Yes, the Silver Waste. I had to call a mesmer friend to come as well.
Yeah.
That one was rough.
That still took like an hour and a half.
And it still took like an hour.
Because the Silver Waste one, I think
it was
you
really
have to
fun.
get the markers for, right? To go. Yeah, and I missed one, and at that time I was like, I am not turning around. I'm just leaving. I just quit. I was like, nope. So I still haven't finished that one.
And then I went back and got all the coins for the luminescent achievement.
Yeah.
And then that was even worse.
Yeah.
But no, it's really fun. There's all this stuff. And so if you're someone that's getting into Guild Wars 2 hasn't played it before, I would say don't focus on heart quests. That's one of the things people get stopped up on that can really hamper your enjoyment if you're viewing that as just a quest grind that you have to do. Think of it as exploration, and just kind of explore until you hit 80, and then if you're done with world completion at that point and you hate it, then you can do whatever you want.
Unless you want a legendary. You're
at max level, You're at max level, and at that point you can really just do whatever you want. And this is one of the MMOs that's the most true in, which I think is, a lot of MMOs say that you can do that, and it's BS. But this one it really is, because there's no gear progression. You can work on the final tier, Ascended, which will always be the best tier if you want to. It has the same stats as a Legendary. It's just Legendaries can switch their stats on the fly if they want to. And that's it. And they're not terribly hard to get. So you can really just go in and do whatever you want, and you have to set your own goals. And it's very much like a sandbox game, despite being totally a theme park. You have to have that sandbox MMO mentality where you're like, this is what I'm going to set out my goal to be. You know, maybe it's getting a legendary. Maybe it's being dumb like me and unlocking all of the Balthasar weapons because you always want to be able to match. You know, whatever you want to sort of work towards, that's what you've got to set for yourself, because it's not like WoW where you're like, okay, I want to get my belt, and if that's a 522 belt, and I want to make that like a 548 belt to bring up my average eye level. The game doesn't try to force you into anything. So if you're not coming into it with that mentality like a sandbox game where you're like, this is what I want to do, and it is largely Fashion Wars 2, as they say, cosmetic driven, unless it's, you know, or achievement driven, and Guild Wars 2 rewards you better for achievements than any game I've seen. Dudes, they're just loading skins out on you. There's lots of titles in there, but I just love the achievement point tied skins that you get, because I've never seen that before. Like every 200 or so, you'll get a chest. And it's awesome.
I actually just broke 9K achievements, so
nice.
Thanks, Zealots.
I think I'm at 6.
Yeah.
But
it's a really fun game where you have to kind of set those goals yourself. And they have added more progression with the expansion. Mastery systems are something they took that was sort of inspired by older platformer games where you unlock movement skills to help you get around maps. Sometimes they're required, sometimes they're not. So that's a more interesting form of progression, I think, than just getting a better piece of gear. But it's also something that's a bit grindy. Some people don't like it. I personally like having a goal.
Yeah. No, it's definitely pretty nice.
So my last couple points, I'm going to get them quick so we can actually get to the point here. For reasons people have had trouble, or just things that are really unique about Guild Wars 2. One, I find this, and I hear this all the time. People have a really hard time choosing the right class and finding something that they enjoy. One of the things that Guild Wars 2 has done that I'm not a huge fan of is they sort of tried to esportify most game modes. World v World is basically an RVR game mode where they try to get everything really balanced and be able to quantify it, you know, on a scoreboard. And that's an interesting perspective, but it's something that's not typical of RVR game types.
Right.
The structured PvP, I think they call it Conquest, is, you know, very, very balanced. They've taken progression out of the equation. Your gear, even though it's a game with totally flat gear, there's no leveling, there's no gear. You can just jump into it, set your stats for what your gear would be, and hop right in, and everybody's on an even playing field. And one of the areas that philosophy extended to was ability design and how you choose your build. Your weapon determines 5 of your skills, and then you have a couple utilities from a couple different tool sets that you kind of build to match your talents. And you don't have that flexibility in choosing what abilities you're going to be using with your weapon. Like if you've got a staff and you're a guardian, you have the same 5 abilities from that staff that everybody else has. So they took a real toolkit based rather than like build crafting based balance philosophy that's a lot more like a MOBA than what people expect to see in an MMO. That means that finding the right weapon is really, really important. And you might not be, you might be like, oh, I love two-handed sword. I use that in every game. Ranger has two-handed sword. I want to play a Ranger with it. But, that might not work. That might not play the way you want it.
It really doesn't, despite the fact I'm trying so hard.
Whereas,
I'm trying so hard with that two-hander.
But maybe Warrior two-handed sword is exactly what you want. Or maybe Guardian two-handed sword is exactly like you want. It's just that it's not quite as simple. It works completely differently, basically, getting your build together in other MMOs. Like I said, it's a lot more a MOBA-esque design philosophy, and I think that makes it hard for some people to find the right class. I basically rolled everything and took it to PvP, like I said, because there's no levels, and just dicked around with weapons for like an hour or two to find which one I like, which one felt good. And that's how I was eventually able to choose my class. Another one, Guild Wars 2 does not use the Trinity for its group content, although it's gotten pretty close with raids.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't really understand the complexity of the combat because they kind of hide it. The way the combo system works isn't really obvious. So, like, it's really easy to get on an Elementalist, I think is a really good example of this, and just be like, okay, I spam fire on things, and I dodge, and that's the entire combat system. And the Elementalist is really complicated. Its rotation, you're like going into your Earth stance. If you're in your staff, you lay down a blast finisher that's going to go off in a couple seconds. Then you switch to fire real fast and put a fire field down so that delayed blast finisher will put a blast in the fire combo field, which gives like stacks of might to everybody in your group. And there's
or having someone else do it,
other people can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all types of different finishers, bunch of types of different fields. And it's all about status effect management, whether it's buffs for your group, there are a whole lot of them, or
like
debuffs on enemies.
They need to know like which ones give what, because like some people will blast the wrong thing with the wrong weapon against things, so people will get like either might or speed instead. And so yeah, I agree.
Yeah, or someone puts an airfield on top of your fire field.
Yes.
And all of this seems like pretty complicated, which it can be. And a lot of people underestimate it, but when you start getting into such things as the raids, because there is no gear progression, you can't cheese it by just getting better gear and going back and making it trivial. High-end fractals, which are unforgiving, and like really high-end PvP and stuff like that. The really good teams are the ones who utilize these fields and these blast finishers to the utmost and working as a team.
With rage and high-level fractals, you can't do it without it.
Yeah.
And the performance between a good player and someone who doesn't know how the game mechanics work in Guild Wars 2 is enormous.
Mm-hmm.
It's because again, there's no gear in the equation, just like you said. So I think a lot of people come in, they don't see the Trinity, and they're like, everybody's DPS, and that's not how it works. My Guardian brings Reflex and Condition Clear and things like that. But the Phalanx Strength Warrior in our group is bringing Might stacking. The Chronomancer is going to bring the Speed buff, and they're working on maintaining
Quickness!
That. Yes. The way group mechanics and group rules work in the game is pretty important. It's just different than what people are used to. And it's not perfect. I don't think it's a perfect replacement for the Trinity. I think the fact that people tend to all gear glass cannon because mitigation isn't as big of a part of the system is a kind of a shame. That's less true in raids, by the way. There's very much a tanking and healing going on in raids where people are building for those roles. But it's there is complexity there. It's just not what you're expecting, and you kind of have to get on the wiki and they don't explain it as well as they should, unfortunately.
I don't think they explain it at all. Like, I don't think at any point in time, like even during like the tutorials where they would kind of like, even though 90% of the time people just click through it going, I want to play the game, Guild Wars 2 doesn't do that. They don't even tell you about fields. Yeah, that was
addressed on Reddit recently, is that they need to update their guide, because their guide is now linked on their launcher now, because they upgraded the launcher look. And so you can click the guide and it gives you the deal, but it doesn't give you the exact, like what we're talking about. It just kind of gives you like, here's a quick video, look at your cool Ellie, it does all this magical stuff, and you're like, okay, but you didn't explain the blasting, the combos, like any of that stuff. So
no, like you wouldn't even know what they are unless you read the tooltip, and then you're sitting there scratching your head going, what's a blast? What's a blast, or what's
you'd have to go to wiki and look that up.
No, it's pretty bad on that, in that case. So that's probably, I don't want to give a lot of people a get out of jail free card, but the game doesn't really tell people about these different systems until you start getting up into these like really hard really hard content and going, it's impossible to beat this. Why would they do it? It's like, well, it's not, but you're playing it like you do the open world stuff where you can just slam your face against the keyboard and there you go. It doesn't quite work that way. So, I mean, definitely there's some things that, they need to explain better, but the game isn't as simple as it makes itself out to be.
Yeah. They really need a tutorial that explains combos.
Yeah. and the whole guide just needs to overhaul, because it's mostly the old stuff from the original, like when Guild Wars 2 first came out. So a lot of it's like out of date or doesn't seem to connect anymore. So whoever is on that, I hope they fix it before the release of the next one. If not, they need something.
Right.
So we've got something in the chat that I want to address in a second, but let me hit my last point so I don't forget it. my last thing that I really like about Guild Wars 2 is that flat progression system. A lot of people don't like it. They like to be gaining power through stats. Personal preference. But my favorite part about it is that there are zero barriers to re-entry for me. For one, the game doesn't have a subscription. Not always my favorite thing, but it works as well as it does in any other game in this way in terms of how they're able to add content. But two, I'm never behind. I don't, if I've got the best gear in WoW and I leave for 6 months, it's like I've got nothing when I come back to that game.
Truth to that.
Cosmetics and the achievements you've made towards cosmetics with things like legendaries, those never go away. So every time you come back, you just pick up right where you left off, pretty much. Only there's more content and more things
Another
to do.
plus is there's no more like it doesn't make you go another 10 levels every time an expansion comes out.
Yeah.
So
And
once you hit 80, you're good.
They add just as much open world content for you as well.
Basically.
It's just there's no levels associated with it, which is great. It's really great. So, Meow's Bark asks, what makes Guild Wars 2 different from WoW? And, obviously it's very, very different. But I think he asked specifically about endgame, which I think is a good question and probably something we should just explicitly discuss. So, his question was, is it just dailies, dungeons, and battlegrounds? And I kind of want to say no. Like what I said about sandbox, I'll let everybody talk here. What I said about sandbox mentality, where you set your own goals, is true. It doesn't funnel you into anything, because you just come in and you work towards whatever you want. So for me, I'm usually my end game is largely farming gold. I spend way too much. I go through the living story when it comes, and I spend a lot of time in like the silver waste and event maps with my friends, which is fantastic because it's open world and the content is actually challenging now. And the thing I like about open world is it's not like you've got a group size of, let's say, 5. You got 6 people online, that one person's boned. or you've got 4 people online, you have to pug someone. You just get everybody who wants to come, load up in a group or raid, head off into the zone, and sort of farm for resources and things to sell. That's how I spend a lot of my time. But sometimes, I want to go into a fractal. That's still earning me gold to work on my cosmetics, but I'm also working on progressing through the higher difficulties of fractals, upping my agony resistance so I can keep going, learning the new mechanics as they're added and as things get harder and harder. And fractals are a self-contained progression where there's basically a fractal resistance stat that you add. So it sort of simulates progression without actually adding power. They're pretty cool. Some people are really into raiding, and you can't cheese it without the gear.
Yeah, no,
but
definitely.
They keep farming the raids, and there are raid-specific legendaries that are really unique. There are fractal-specific legendaries that you can get that have a unique visual and show that you've done that. I think World v World just got some, which is the realm versus realm game mode, where people are fighting in hundreds over castles and keeps and things like that, like we've seen in games like Daok or The Elder Scrolls Online. There is structural PvP with tournaments that are battlegrounds. You can do any of those things, and you get rewarded for them, but you don't have to do any one. You can do all of them. You could do only one if you want to. It really doesn't matter. That's the big difference between Guild Wars and WoW, is you have similar types of content, but it's not like you're forced into going and grinding dailies or going and grinding dailies to get ready for.
No, I do encourage it
Rep.
because you get 2 gold every time you do the daily thing. But anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're easy too. They take like 10 minutes to do the dailies.
And by the way, Meow's Bark, I see you said you're interested in sandbox elements. It's not sandboxy, really. It's just that
it's more like the living world kind of changes around you. So if you're not there at a certain time when things happen, sadly, then you miss out a little bit, which they're talking about bringing back some of that so people that do come into this game new can experience that as well. But right now that's not in their books, but it was brought up by Mo. So.
Oh, yeah, and the living world, which is the episodic story, and they have been at probably the greatest content release cadence of an MMO right now, getting those out over the last couple months, where it was like, new zone every month, new events, new collections.
Yeah. I came back and all of a sudden I'm like, where did all these freaking zones come from? They did pretty good with that, yeah.
But yeah, it's not a sandbox game. All of this is theme park, curated, handmade by the developers. Content we're talking about. It's just that it's
the way you approach it feels sandboxy.
You have to think about it like a sandbox, where it's not like, okay, I've got to work on getting, like the new sword from this dungeon so that I can go into the raid because the raiding is what we do. Or I've got to work on my arena raiding this week, where you have to go in one thing and sort of, you've got a way to achieve that goal. Most goals are either, you can find that if you want to. If fractal progression is what you can focus on, if raiding's what you want to focus on, you can totally make it that way.
Yeah.
But you can also just do whatever, and you'll never fall behind anybody that's doing anything else. So I love it.
And like you said, the way that you approach it, it's all the same stuff. You got raiding, you got dungeon stuff like that. But how World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV and Rift and all these other theme park MMOs do it, they funnel everyone into the newest content. Like it's designed to draw people in, right? And the way that's done is whenever people get pulled from one thing to the next, so you're coming back and going, well, I was really right in this zone, but it's no longer the hotness, so there's no one there ever. It's not quite the same. To a certain extent, it might be for a lot of people are in the newer zones, but there's still people doing everything because all the reward structure is the same. It's all useful no matter where you're at. So, like, there's still people in Verdant Brink, even though it's not the latest thing. Like, when there's meta events going on, there's groups, there's people doing it because it's that sandbox element of people have to set their own goals, whatever those goals are, and then they can spread out throughout the world and to accomplish them, which is refreshing. So
working on your legendary after 4 years is still relevant.
Well, and now you got the legendary armor that you can work on too. So
yeah. Thanks. No, actually, but that is what I was going to ask everybody: is what are your personal goals? Me, I like to just farm gold and buy shit off the auction house.
Honestly, I as you know, and one of my biggest gripes about ESO is the fact that there's no cosmetics in the game other than what I can pay for my wallet. I'm actually a cosmetic hunter, even though I dress the most drab, as my wife says, because I like realistic. I think I'm wearing the banded armor on my Guardian. I have the Gallant Greatsword because I didn't like the way Sunrise looked. I just got it so that I could have it. I'm actually kind of like, you look at me going, is he like level 30? But, I kind of like that look. But I like
used
doing...
to do that, but then I rolled a tree person, and then my armor, I found one that glowed when I glowed.
The tree ones are the only guys who I get a little crazy. Like, I like realistic, but when I'm playing a tree, I'm fine with the plants, because plants technically are realistic at that point. So, but
that's exactly why I've been going for kudzu with my Sylvari forever. So.
It makes sense. I could see it.
It'll look so pretty.
Yeah, Alana's endgame is complaining about me not letting her finish her legendaries.
Yeah, that's my entire thing.
Yeah,
indeed. Kit, what about you?
I do a little bit of everything. I mostly obviously farm as well, but I actually am more of a World v. Roller and PvPer. I do the PvE content obviously whenever it comes out, and then I kind of go through the map, get whatever rewards I want to get, and then just kind of book it right back into World v. World. So I don't know. I just like killing players and capping things. Like, I just feel like it's more more fun to me than just
gonna take a step back.
You sounded like such a nice person during the introduction.
No.
It's a nice way to let frustration out.
I'm really excited about the fact that they've made a lot of changes to World v. World to make it a more viable game mode for everybody. That there's a whole reward structure to it now, and it's got its own legendary armor, and the gliders in World v. World actually seems to be working a lot better than I thought it was going to last night. I probably will be spending more time there as well.
All right. I'm going to have to cut this conversation short because we've spent about 45 minutes talking about what Guild Wars 2 is and not really about what our main topic is. But, it's okay for some of our audience who may not know what it is. So, if you were, already listening or already playing Guild Wars 2, so when we share this out, I'll make sure I put a timestamp saying go ahead and skip to about 45 minutes. That way we're getting into what we really want to talk about, which is on August 1st, I believe it was. I seem to remember. I get my dates always mixed up. But I did watch the live stream. They actually had a live stream that announced their new expansion, which obviously, as you've been watching this show, we have had the trailer going in the center box. We got the logo for Path of Fire, which is the name of the expansion down there in one of our host boxes that's empty.
I'm very proud of this setup.
Yeah, no, I kind of am.
That's good.
But they announced this, and they went into a bunch of details, which we are going to go through and analyze. But something that actually really surprised me is it's launching on September 22nd. August 1st, we found out about it. September 22nd, it's launching. Like, anyone else find that, like, really weird? Like, at least in modern MMOs, it's like, we're going to launch in Star Citizen in 2030, you know? I mean, obviously, they're indie, so I'm not giving them too much crap about it. But, I mean, in modern, in more modern MMOs, we don't see launch. Even Blizzard's guilty of this. They announce it at FanFest, or not FanFest, I'm thinking 14, but they do the same thing. They launch it at BlizzCon, and then it's like a year and a half till it's out, right? Like, then it goes into testing and all that. They announce this, and it's like a month and a half. It was like, well, less than 2 months, and this thing is coming out. At this point, it's almost a month and a half.
Yeah, I feel like they're definitely doing it different this time around, just because of how Heart of Thorns was kind of overhyped / done, in a sense. So this time, I think it's pretty short and simple, and it's kind of needed, because if not, we would have been like, if they would have just waited until like October / next year, beginning spring, we would have been dry of content in a sense. So
yeah, no,
like if you're not catching up, that is.
Yeah, like me, I've got plenty to do.
Yeah.
Especially with their living story schedule, there wouldn't be.
When I heard that the living story was picking up just 2 months after the expansion again, I was like, what?
Right.
They the last time I stepped away was, it was sort of starting to fall into content drought land, and they seem pretty determined not to do that again.
Yeah, that's exactly. And then they kind of made the stories more short and concise, so that people who don't have a lot of time could just kind of get through and get out.
Yeah. I don't find that to be necessarily a great thing.
Yeah, because
you want, like, well, Kit, you're the one who's saying this. Like, you have a lot of friends who, like, we talked about this in the pre-show, that you have a lot of friends who come and go. You don't want that in MMO. You want people to always be there, right?
Yeah. I originally was in a full, like, 20-man World v. World guild, and now it's down to 3 of us, because literally either people just got bored of waiting for actual content, or they got bored waiting for the World v. World final update that came, like, just a couple months ago.
The competitive
after
pack?
2 years. So, So one downside I would say about this game out of all, and I hate to like pick at it, is just like they express that they want to care for every game mode, but then like it's always like one game mode kind of gets left in the dark, or 2 of them, and then PvE gets more cared, and if not, it's World v. World and PvP, and
it's usually World v. World.
Yeah, World v. World was the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah,
no, it definitely is.
That killed a lot of people coming away, or like going away, and then they came back when that latest update came, and now that the expansion, I've seen a lot of friends come back online, and so hopefully this expansion will kind of keep them busy. Mo's claiming that it's going to be more just like endless story. It's not going to be like cut off. It's going to be now continuous, so.
Right. We'll see. And there's and I got to say, Kit, there's nothing wrong with being critical, because you know what the opposite of I guess love is, right? It's indifference, not being critical. So being critical is because you actually love a product and you don't want to see it fail.
Sometimes, but you're a fan of the game, or like if you guys in and out and you play the game, and then you see like other content makers who are just kind of like the yes ma'am, yes sir, and they never give you the dirt, and so you're just like, okay, this game seems perfect, and then you go into that game and it's like opposite, or it's like, okay, are they just kissing butt because they're getting such and such, or like did they get promoted? So I'm always critical when I go on other people's things. I'm like, I don't know if these people are just like
you
nothing against you guys, so I was just like, I don't know what to say.
Go
watch the ESO shows.
Yeah, go watch. I think it's episode 142, Lies and Lockboxes, and you'll see. Yeah, you were.
You brought me on specifically to bring angry.
Yep. That show is nothing but us angry over some decisions that they made about a game that we loved. So I mean, no. We're fine with that.
Heard the past tense there.
Well, no, I love it. So
Yes.
that's why I am the way that I am about it. And some people actually get really mad at me, going, "Well, if you don't like the game, then why are you doing pot?" I'm like, "No, you're misunderstanding."
That's kind of the prime example that I was talking to you guys a little bit earlier about, like, when people don't know how to separate my Kit the Traveler from me, because if I do want to be blunt, they're like, "That's not how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be nice and blah blah blah." I'm like, I could say that I don't like something.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you didn't like it, like if you legitly fell out of love with Guild Wars 2, you would have just stopped playing, and that would have been it. You're just like, nope,
Yeah.
left it up. I got you. All right, so I obviously see chat room says, "Wow, that got really deep," and I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of did." Moving on to, like I said, if you're interested in seeing Pathfire, even if you haven't bought it, they announced 2 weekends, which is actually kind of interesting. First off, August 11th through 14th. So if you're listening to this, let's see, it's Wednesday. I'll probably get it out by Friday. So if you're listening to this on the day it goes live, for anyone who's not here in the chat room, it's probably tomorrow or like this coming up weekend. They're doing a zone-free preview weekend from the 11th to 14th of August that's going to be open to all players, regardless of whether or not you bought the expansion or even have an account. You can actually make an account to play it. You'll be able to jump into the first part of Path of Fire story in the Crystal Desert, the Anun Oasis, which I was really excited about because I did play Guild Wars 1. I didn't play it like you did, Kit. Like I didn't play it. I got it when Guild Wars 2 was announced, and I wanted to go back and fill up my Hall of Monuments, which I got up to like 41 points or something like that. Which was fairly decent in the amount of time that I was in the game.
It's easy now, too, for anyone that wants to just get free achievement points. The wiki has, like, a guide now for anyone that wants to quick first half.
Yeah, the first 30 points are really easy. It's the next 20 that were hard. Because it's a lot of the, getting, like, the Sweet Tooth achievement and getting all these reps up and things like that, which take a while. But anyway, you'll be able to do the Anun Oasis. You'll be able to unlock the Raptor mount, which we'll talk about mounts here in a little bit, so you get to play with that. No progress will be saved during this event. So when it's done, you can go in there, go mad, whatever, and it's gone.
So I want to suggest one little thing. If you do plan on doing this, last beta we learned, even Shaman talked about this, put all your stuff in the bank a couple days beforehand so that it gets copied over, because if you don't, they might do something different this time, but just to be safe, just put it in there, and then you can have a copy of your gear and what you want to play with. So whatever you're going to play, like the gathering tools to your weapon, armor, all that stuff, put it in your bank. And then, so.
There you go. Tip from the pro. There you go. The following weekend, I think it's the 18th through the 20th, they're doing an Elite Specialization weekend where you'll be able to play the new Elite specs in PvP and World v World. I'm not sure if you'll be able to play it in the open world. I doubt it. But it wasn't specific, so I don't know for sure. And sorry, I looked.
Maybe the vanilla zones. I think that might have been how it worked the last
I don't know if
time.
they'll let you do that or not, because they don't want any well, see, there's the problem. You still get progress in PvP and World v World. I just figured because those are different. I mean, PvP, for instance, is completely, you can go in at level 1 character and it's different. World v World, maybe not so much. So I don't know. Maybe you can play in the open world with it. I don't know. That's neither here nor there, but there is an Elite Specialization. So if you really want to try out, the Weaver, or in my case, the Firebrand, this might be a good weekend to do this. All right. So now it's the fun stuff. So they're planning on picking this up right where Living World Season 3 left off. The One Path Ends, which obviously is a nice tip of the hat to the name of the expansion, if you didn't catch that. I thought it was kind of clever, but I'm the king of puns. I love puns, and I'm like, I like it. I see what you did there, ArenaNet. So they jumped right onto that. Now, one of the first big things that they pointed out is that we're going to Crystal Desert. And it's actually funny, when the announcement was going on, Zealot, who, by the way, sorry, it was really funny when you were doing your thing, he kept throwing bits at us, and I could just see him sitting there, like, throwing coins at your face, trying to get you to, like, mess up. It was kind of funny. And then even one of our own co-hosts here, Kit, I noticed that, started joining in on the trolling and throwing bits at your face. Yeah, that was funny. But we were talking about it, and I actually I didn't look at any of the leaked material, because I actually only found out afterwards that there was leaked material. But I kind of...
I was all over that shit.
I didn't even look at it. I honestly did not even look at it.
I've been riding the Mount Hype train for like 3 months now.
Yeah.
Wow, I was the only one who's like, nope. But I actually
mean,
called.
Be happy though, because now you'll be more surprised, at least for your end.
Yeah. Well, no, it was. I called Crystal Desert. I'm like, it's Crystal Desert. It's Crystal Desert. And I was pleasantly surprised because I did play, and actually some of my favorite parts of Guild Wars 1 was actually Nightfall. That was my favorite expansion. It was awesome.
I like
it was
Nightfall. Everyone was hyping over factions for a while, but then I was just like, Nightfall, people.
Nightfall was the
Abaddon.
best,
Joker.
man. And I liked how we talked earlier because Guild Wars 1, especially Nightfall, was dark compared
Yeah, it's a very dark
to
game.
the start of Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is very light and whatever until you start getting into Heart of Thorns. But yeah, Nightfall, the whole Abaddon story, which I freaking love it. Definitely check that out. But now they're talking about Crystal Desert and Alona. We'll see those there. And there are going to be 5 maps, which are apparently bigger than like anything they've ever done, hence the inclusion of mounts. I'm going to kind of skip over this map thing because I kind of want to talk about it a little later because I put a few notes in here when we start talking about mounts. Because when they added mounts, I know people go, if you've been playing other MMOs, mounts are almost like a foregone conclusion. Like, yeah,
I was
of
gonna
course.
say, yeah, I'm not too like I like that there's mounts now, but at the same time, I'm like, I've been used to walking in this game for so long and waypointing, and just whatever.
I don't know.
That doesn't get me hyped up as much.
I like mounts. I like collecting mounts.
I mean,
Not all
collecting
the
them,
gym
yes.
store.
I'm with
I don't get
Isarii
me
on
wrong
that.
about that. Yeah, but overall, like just to be like, oh my God, there's mounts now. I'm just, cool.
Nope.
I mean,
One of them's a giant rabbit. I'm into it.
right? I really
excited for
hope that they
one.
give out a Doliac because then I can actually
Yeah.
use my Doliac for my traveler stuff too. So
There
I'm
you
just
go.
like, please.
It just fits. It needs to happen. But it's actually funny. I remember writing on the forums about when the game first came out, asking for mounts as a thing that people could collect. I'm like, I don't even care if it's not even, you don't even get a speed increase. And, I was like, I just want to ride on a mount and I run the same speed as if I was walking. I like collecting mounts. It's something that I enjoy personally as the type of gamer that I am.
Yeah, because that's that in like World of Warcraft. Like anytime there's expansion, I try to grab everything. So I'm hoping they do the same thing here. I'm just hoping they don't put it all through Gem Store because that'll be kind of sucky.
I agree. I mean, these first couple you earn through the game, but yeah, if there's any
Yeah.
kind of cosmetic later on of, oh, your raptor is now something else, I would like to see some cosmetic rewards. And it's kind of,
I will say, at least with Guild Wars 2, as opposed to certain other games, the things that are in the gem store can create gameplay for you just through the whole farming
for sure.
gold to buy gems to buy it.
Yeah, like if you don't want to use your real money, the best thing is that we can change gold into this game. Unlike most other free kind of
Yep.
MMOs, you have to pay only cash.
oh yeah, no, that is it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Guild Wars, I'm a big anti-cash shop guy. Like, I just am. I'm a guy who would prefer MMOs just to go back to full sub and that's it.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 didn't really bother me as much as some other games because, honestly, they don't add as much to their cash shop. Like, I came in and there's still, I don't know, there's still items in there, though, from when I stopped playing years
Yeah,
ago.
I was gonna say, it's so much not on armors has been added. It's more like just outfits and gliders right now. That's like,
And even a
the
lot
real
of them
big deal.
stay in for long period. Like, the thing that I have issue with
Oh.
ESO is they rotate their stuff out to kind of create that artificial scarcity and then make people panic and go, oh, if I really want that, I need to throw money at my
and
screen
now's
right
a
now.
really good time to even come back anyways because they do have a really good bundle deal right now. Even if you don't want to use cash, I think it's like 1,200 gems, but you get endless tools.
Mhm.
You get I think keys and something like you get like a good little batch of stuff. Oh, and a booster, like another booster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about $30, but that's if you do it with cash. If not, gold, and it's a good starter. Like, go back to the game, start
Right.
yourself back up, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so unlike other games, which is actually
Although
some...
I don't want to ruin your hype, Aggelos, but they have started putting exclusive items in the loot boxes.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to explain earlier. I wasted $20 today to try and get the elemental sword because they brought it back in today because today the Black Lion store is having a sale again, and they added some of the stuff that they previously put in the past that only comes from that chest in there. And plus, I wanted to try and get the Dueno wings before it disappears, and instead it was just like, here's a bunch of boosters. I'm like, $20, come on now.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of lock
I'll
boxes.
never spend any money on that. I hope they don't start upping that, because
I don't know. I'm just really hoping they stop, or like maybe they think because fans really like that old stuff, because it's literally like the elemental sword and all them from back from Guild Wars 1 that they're like putting that in that chest, and it's like, why? Obviously they know collectors are going to want it, and then they obviously know the vets are going to want it, but then as a normal player just trying to get it, like, why?
And this is an issue with boxes in general. Unlike some games, you can earn keys in Guild Wars 2, but it's not at a consistent rate. There used to actually be a farm you could do, but they realized people were just...
They dropped it down to once a week now, for like leveling... was like a 2 to 10 or something, or 20
or 30 or something like that. But yeah, if you're interested in farming keys, you can literally get 1 box a week by just making a character.
And if your account's like super lucky, like my one friend, you can get that 0.01% chance from a random mob still, because he gets lucky and roll and gets it still.
I've never had that happen, but yeah.
Not either.
Actually, I think I've had it happen a couple times now that I think about it. There are also some reward tracks that have keys, like for PvP.
Yeah.
And there's one... you can use the level boost items, the Tomes of Knowledge, to make your key farm way more effective, where you can get to like the higher levels.
I have so many birthday ones that boost me up to 20, which is pretty much where I need to go, that I have a free slot that I make a character, boost at 20, do the story real quick, get a key. Done. Do it once a week.
That's a couple keys, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
At 20, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's a do it, but lock boxes are still cancer, and they should not.
They really are. They really are. But that's for another...
That's an entire show.
Yeah, that's a whole... Trust me, I know. I'll put you guys on that.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on, because if we don't, it's going to be an entire show, because I've been trying to get mounts started forever.
The yelling will happen.
Isarii won't shut up for 5 seconds.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, definitely. This is why... she can't get her legendary because of you.
Yeah,
and this is
it.
You won't let me finish mounts. That's the problem. Anyway, back to this. New mounts being added, and unlike some games, it's not just riding. They actually had unique things that these mounts do. And we'll go into that. And you can actually even attack with them, but only like 1 attack, which is neat. Like, you can start attacks with it. And they all have one unique attack skill. But when I watched the trailer or the 20-minute introduction, whatever, they only gave one example of a combat skill, and it was the raptor, where he can like swing his tail around, hit things, pull it in. But apparently all of them have at least one combat skill. But anyway, the raptor, and I'm going to read this. I got this from the actual main site here. Their flavor text, and we'll talk about it. It says, raptors are hardy and swift, and surprisingly easy to train due to their intelligence. Yeah, someone's been watching Jurassic Park. That's not part of that.
Yeah.
I see Muldoon sitting there. Clever girl. Yeah, anyway. I love that movie. Anyway, they can cross great distances in a single leap, making them the favored mount of many desert denizens. Travelers are advised not to leave the city of Anun without obtaining a raptor companion. So obviously their special ability is being able to do these giant leaps. And I have a note here saying it's possibly tied to a Noon Oasis progression. Obviously, we don't know, but just like there were mastery issues within, I shouldn't say issues, but it was an issue at the start of Heart of Thorns where in order to continue story and stuff like that, you couldn't even get to certain parts of the map without getting certain mastery levels, and mounts are tied to masteries. So I'm wondering if in order to like 100% the map, if leveling up with the raptor is something you're going to actually have to do. Kip, do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel like they will probably add, like, obviously tiers of masteries to slowly, kind of like they did with Heart of Thorns. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you have to, like, collect so much or do so much to unlock each skill of whatever they have planned for these like mounts or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited about the raptor because I love dinosaurs, so this is perfect for me. I'm curious on what each one does, and too. Like, I wish they would have kind of showed a preview of that and just not the raptor. But it looked like the bunny just kind of like jumps super high.
It does.
Bouncy mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing maybe the water one swims probably faster or something, like speeds through
hovers.
water. But
It also goes over water.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the hovering it
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
And I have notes. We'll talk about it in a second. We're talking raptor now.
okay.
It'd be better if it was a stegosaurus.
Oh,
Oh.
there you go. Or
Most
T-Rex with
important
his little
dinosaur.
short arms.
That would be really cool too.
All right, so other than the dinosaur fantasy we got going on, I guess. So the next mount that we'll probably end up getting here is the skimmer. Skimmers are graceful creatures native to a lone river. Ooh, I like that they're pulling in some things here. They live above water, breathing through large air sacs as they float above the surface. While they cannot truly fly, they can hover for short distances at a height of several, nom, whatever the in-game
Several
method.
Norns.
Several Norns, which is pretty much like flying. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Making
I've
them
never-
indispensable
Oh.
for crossing large areas of treacherous quicksand or
I
sulfur.
really like Norns as a unit of measurement, though.
We should use
Yeah.
Norns going forward. I agree.
Yeah.
So their
But
special skill is they
I
hover.
think a Norn is probably about 3 noms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't even know what a nom is, but yes, Norns are huge. So they hover. Now, and this is something that I actually thought about because they didn't actually say anything about this. And this is something that's kind of interesting, the fact that they noticed. This goes back to what we said about the 5 different maps. So obviously we got the Anun Oasis, okay? And I know somewhere on here they mentioned Crystal Highlands for the Springer, and the Jackal is Desolation, which if you played Guild Wars 1, you'll know what the Desolation is. But when they actually said here, and I put a note saying about the sulfurous waste, because they said sulfur, and I was thinking the sulfurous waste from Guild Wars 1 as maybe a possible other zone, which would then put us at Anun Oasis, Desolation, Crystal Highlands, and then, like, what? I mean, I have 2 more that I was trying to think from the map, and sulfurous waste might be one that might be tied to this particular progression. Kid, I think you and me are the only 2 who really did Guild Wars 1, so...
I feel bad because I don't want to overtalk. So, like, again, I'm a fan of this game and I love it. So I would just be like, blah, 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 blah.
No, I'm fine. Go ahead. That's why we brought
But
you on. You're supposed to
I-
do the work for us. Come on now.
I'm not excited about the water mount is pretty, but I'm not excited for it because I'm hoping, like, I thought they were going to try and stray away from water combat basically because I thought the community disliked it.
Yeah, but it
was
floats above the water. They specifically
Yeah,
said,
I
like,
know.
no, you don't
So
even
I'm
have to go in the
hoping they're
water.
underwater. Like, I'm just hoping it's just to get across, like, some long river or something.
What about Quaggins?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
underwater
look.
is where the Quaggins are.
Okay,
Boo
Quaggins
on
get
you.
exception. They get
Boo on
exception,
you.
but the Quaggins are no longer Quaggins over there. They look like they basically, as Wooden Potatoes put it, that they had sex with the cactus because.
I do think Desert Quaggin should have been their own bullet point.
It looks so dirty.
So are they all in, like, the angry Quaggin mode?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're-
guess they are.
Quaggin mad.
I'm just gonna be.
Ooh.
Am I the only one who doesn't like Quaggins? Like,
Literally
Yes.
the only person.
I mean, they're not my favorite, but they are really cute. I just feel like they're overused. But now that we have Irene,
Possible.
she's a cute little baby dragon, so everyone's gonna be all hyped over the cuteness, and now they're using her like the backpacks and the minis and all that stuff. So I feel like whatever's cute at that time that they know the fans like, it's hyped. So
We get to play How to Train Your Dragon.
yeah, there you go.
well, technically, isn't that the whole premise of the living? How to train your dragon to fight other dragon? Anyway,
Hey,
you see what I did there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Vick, the living story.
Nice. The one that Isari's really excited about, the Springer, comes up next. Their long ears and wriggly noses are charming, but the Springer's greatest strength is its ability to make jaw-dropping vertical leaps. Traveling merchants and couriers use them to cross sheer cliffs in the Crystal Highlands, shaving weeks off their journey. You like my announcer voice? Yeah?
Very nice.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
As someone who can't make jaw-dropping vertical leaps, pretty into it.
I think it'll be interesting to see how the zone is compared to Heart of Thorns, just because that was so vertical, and
Yeah.
this is going to be a desert. mostly. From my
But we will still
understanding.
have our gliders.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
curious. Well, and I'm also curious if they're gonna let us use like the stuff we already earned from Heart of Thorns, or if they're gonna cut it completely. Since Mo kind of made the statement of you don't really need to, like, if you're a new player coming in, you don't need to buy Heart of Thorns to kind of get into it. So I'm
I
wondering.
think I did hear them say actually that we're gonna see like jumping mushrooms or something
Okay,
like that.
good. 'Cause I didn't see that part.
Occasionally, I think it's gonna be a rare thing.
Right.
It sound like and more of a shortcut and not required.
Well, here's the... Okay. And I know we're going to talk about it later. And sorry, Kit. Like, I know I'll overthrow you in here and you don't have access to all of our notes, but I actually have some of that stuff in here. I should have given it to you, but I didn't think about it till just now, and it's not worth it at this point.
So professional.
I know, right? Well, I think it's mostly for the fact that, like you said, this is the most complete notes I think we've ever done on this show. Normally, I feel embarrassed to give our outline out. So now it's like the one time where it would actually be like, wow, like these guys seem fairly prepared.
Right.
This is the exception, not the norm. No, I'm just kidding. We do.
We're like, here's a link.
Yeah, like
I'm
literally.
Go read
messy
it.
too when it comes to this kind of stuff, and they're like, "Where's the link? Where's this?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll get to it. Give me a sec."
Yeah, but and I know they announced a new guild hall, which I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
I'm excited about that too.
But the thing they mentioned is you have to have Heart of Thorns in order to even get it, right? Like, if you
Yeah,
don't
see, that's
have
why
it, yeah,
It's like a double-edged sword. It's so weird because he's saying that people can just join right in, and then I was sitting there saying that earlier last week on my other podcast thing. Like, how is this going to be possible? Because I feel like they're going to try and get players to buy Heart of Thorns because of that, like guild halls, and then if they do technically lay out the mushrooms, maybe they might put like certain achievements that you can only get if you have that ability, so then it forces you to buy Heart of Thorns unless they get mesmers to do, like, you know, the portals and stuff like some mesmers do. But overall, I'm confused how that's gonna work, but okay.
yeah.
I
And
guess.
Wooden Potatoes, shout out to Wooden Potatoes. By the way, I love you, mate. In case you actually, watch this show, I got like total bromance for you. But anyway, that's beside the point. He actually made mention of one of the things he talked about was the idea of their business model, because I even told a lot of people in the Dungeon Crawler Network community saying, hold off. Like, people got a lot of the free version. I said, hold off, do not buy Heart of Thorns.
Same. I did the same thing.
Yeah, because I was under the impression, like what they
figured
did with
they'd
the
bundle it.
original, I didn't even think they were bundled. I thought they were going to make it free, like they did with Guild Core.
Exactly.
I'm like, don't buy it. Wait till it gets closer, and then now we're finding out that they're still keeping both expansions as paid, which, I mean, whatever. It's not tons of money, and we'll talk about some of the deals. Like I know Isarii and I and Zealot from chat, who was trolling us earlier, was mentioning like this is the one game that I think I've ever played where their collector's edition actually felt like a deal rather than just throwing money at things.
Yep.
But it's weird. Like you said, he made this point, and I say he, but Mo, the director, was saying how easy it is to get into some of these expansions. But like you said, if they're adding jumping mushrooms, if you don't have Heart of Thorns, you don't have those masteries, you can't use them anyway. You can't go into the guild hall. You can't, like, there's things that, I could understand if they separated, but they're not separating.
Well, and plus of that, like, unless they're going to add gliding on the new expansion, because gliding comes from Heart of Thorns, so...
Yeah. You can't get gliding if you don't have Heart of Thorns.
Right, so...
And
I don't know.
I know it's just a weird philosophy if you're going to have one. Like, if you're going to do it this way, then, great, but... I'm fine with one thing or the other, but the way they tout the game, it just kind of feels like, you're saying this, but you're literally locking people out of certain content.
Earlier when he was addressing about new players not understanding like combat or certain, like they don't have a very good guide. This is the scary part of what I'm fearing of is like if new players come in and they like don't see the glide, they're going to be questioning too. They're going to be like, why can't I glide, or why can't I do this, or what's going on with this? Why are you guys doing that? And it's going to be like, oh, well, you need to buy Heart of Thorns, and they're going to be like, well, why? They said we can jump in and be right along with you guys, though. Like that's my concern. Like,
I mean, gliding's not even limited to just Heart of Thorns. You can glide in World v World now too. So
and core tier,
people will be at a disadvantage.
Yep.
Yeah, can you glide in World v World?
Yeah, you
without
starting
Heart of Thorns?
yesterday. You can glide.
Without,
yeah.
And you'll probably be able to use mounts once they're in there. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed,
I knew
but
it had the separate unlock because I had to go in and do it through the
Right.
world skills. But I wasn't sure if vanilla players would just be boned.
And I get what they did when they added gliding back to core Tyria. The whole idea was that when you saw people glide, it would make people go, "Oh, I want to buy the expansion now," right?
Yep, that's what I figured they did that for, just for the money.
Yeah. So now you're gonna see people in the Crystal Desert and seeing people glide or using the bouncing mushrooms, and they'll be sitting there going, "Well, I'm jumping on this, but I'm not bumping up like you are," and they're like, "Well, it's because you don't have the mastery." Like, "Well, how do I get the mastery?" Well, you get it from Heart of Thorns. So,
and a lot of people are gonna have to go back in the story because if not, you're gonna be grinding away your experience bar to get those masteries unlocked. Because you have the newer stuff like the slingshot now, or the Spider-Man grip thing, and the extra gliding, the attack gliding skills, and
I have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, so many things.
Not only that, but the story, and this is what also is weird, because this is essentially a theme park that you can do a lot of sandboxy things. It's a theme park, but the story is linear. Like, it's not...
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online is another show that we do. We do Tales of Tamriel, and the way they did Morrowind, their expansion, which you had to buy, the stories aren't linked. I mean, there's a few nods. Like, if you've done a story, you meet a character, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, I remember you from when we did the other stuff." But if not, she doesn't say these things.
Right.
But you could essentially do the two because they were separate stories. They're not really linked in any way. This story is you jump into, the heart of Path of Fire. Like, okay, Balthazar's going nuts. Okay. It's just, and then you're going back into... Then you're going to, I'm going to buy Heart of Thorns. Yeah, hello, Commander. And you're going back, and then you're leading up to this.
And this has kind of been the complaint anyways before Heart of Thorns, too, because the main complaint was the beginning of the game, we had choices. So, through your 1 through whatever level story, 60, I think, is the end cap before you have to kind of level up the rest on your own for the story-wise. But overall, you had that detail... And then you got to choose, and then all of a sudden you got into the sort of pre of Heart of Thorn with Scarlet, where there was still kind of some choices, but not really much. It was more like, you get to select a certain dialogue, and that was about it. Now it's just like your commander, you pick what, they automatically choose what you say. So sometimes I'm mad because I'm I don't want my commander sound like an asshole all the time, or all nice, she's bipolar. One moment it's oh, we're gonna be cool, and the next minute we're I'm okay, game, you gotta make up your mind.
I forgot we even had those choices. It's been so long.
Yeah, that's and that was the complaint then. It was the choices, and they said they were gonna start slowly going away from that because it was a little more work and more. So. Sucks when you kind of go back and forth with your words here as Mo, because Mo's saying one thing, but then if you look at it from a player side of view, you're but that doesn't make sense because you need this or you need to do that.
And I see Balinor in chat's pretty much if you give a damn about the story, you're going to be so confused if you skip Heart of Thorns. Yeah, because it's
much exactly. That's what my concern was when they literally announced that. I was right when the whole last story, no spoilers too much on it, but when the whole Livia thing happened, that's my example. A lot of players that are vets. Yeah, I got goosebumps when I saw her. I was yeah, this is friggin' awesome. It was like a little kid in a candy store. But then at the same time, my friend who never played Guild Wars 1 was sitting there who's this? What is going on? And if you don't explore the world like most players do, you don't find the books and read them, because even the books will tell you little details of what's going on. Livia was kind of addressed in the game here and there, but not much for a player to understand. So it's I'm concerned about this whole issue, because I'm are they not really going off of lore? Is it just kind of let's shoot it and you guys are going to like it or not like it?
Right. Yeah. That was a little tangent because we're still talking about mounts, but you know what? We got a jackal. It's going to be amazing because it's a jackal. And it allows you to dissipate and teleport. That's all I'm going to say about it because we literally got off on something else. So we got all these mounts. Here's something that I think is going to be interesting. I know you guys hate them. I love them. Jumping puzzles. By having to use mounts to get through them. Having to switch your mount up, going, in order to get this, I need my Springer to jump up, and then I need my Raptor to jump across, and then I need to use my Jackal to do its weird little dissipate and teleport thing. Yeah, fun times. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's just like,
wow, do you guys really plan that? I tell you.
Such cheese.
I know. Wow.
It's okay.
Well,
a couple that games together could be nerds together. There you go.
I guess.
Yeah.
You're heaven above. I'm gonna have to come up with like a weird cheesy title for this episode just to make up for it. But the next thing they announced, of course, is new elite specializations.
I'm not done with mounts yet.
Okay, what do you have?
No, one of the things I've always said that was so weird about Guild Wars 2, though, is you have this very cosmetic and collecting things driven game that doesn't have mounts or player housing. And,
well, technically, you got your personal instance that you can't do anything in.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's a Guild Hall's a big step towards player housing. Sort of fulfills that in some ways. Sort of does it in others. So finally, mounts, like the number one thing I think most people like to collect, are finally coming. So I don't know. I'm just really hoping we see that, because I've got like 200 some mounts in WoW, I think. Be something where they actually add a few of these into the game, add a few of them into the cash shop, try to strike some balance. Don't put any of them as lockbox exclusive. I'll kill your family. Yeah.
We're looking at you, Bethesda.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird though, right? I understand that we didn't need them because we had waypoints, but it was weird.
We didn't need them in core, but if these maps are bigger and they put less waypoints, maybe it'll make more sense.
Well, and now that they're open world too, because in Guild Wars 1, once you went out of a city, you only had that map, that map alone. So Guild Wars 2, I see them perfectly fine, and even though there's like lots of waypoints, but
I don't know, Kit. I did Fissure of Woe. I could have used a frickin' mount in Fissure of Woe. All right, that's all I'm saying. It took you like 40 minutes to make you all the way across this darn thing.
Yeah,
I could have used a mount.
So beyond that, when do we think we're gonna get mounts in World v World?
I feel like they're going to have to first test out the waters with the glider thing, because right now a lot of World v Worlds are mad, actually, about this
Although it
update.
seemed to work really well. Like, I thought it was going to be stupid, too.
It works well if you were ready for it and you have it. Not everyone has it.
Yep. And especially if you made everyone wait for, like we said earlier, the redheaded stepchild 2 years before putting an update through, and then, so a lot of players who only had before the game.
Oh, the attack of the wild dog. Your Jackal's going nuts.
We don't know where to go.
No, it's around.
Yeah, it's mine. But no, I don't think they would do the mounts right away. I think for where we will release, if they do, it'll be interesting, because they're all going to have to balance right now the gliders and see how they work out. Make sure people aren't going to abuse the system with that, because you know how players are. Like, they find little ways to glitch things or do whatever they need to do to break it.
I think mounts would probably be a great idea. I bet, to be honest, for World v World.
And I think it would be cool if they had like another map, maybe like a small one, and you can have like one of those, like kind of like in Lotro, the like stab with the spear kind of thing. Like, that would be kind of fun.
Jousting map. Yeah,
jousting kind of thing, or like have like a side activity for that for your mounts, where you can attack other players. I would totally be down for that. But World v World, I don't think it's really necessary.
Yeah.
I don't even think the gliders are necessary,
especially
for the
because
newer map. Sure,
movement skills is such an important part of World v World, and it would just be weird.
And I see Balinor in chat. My question is, will there be able to use mounts in core tier Heart of Thorns areas? Honestly, I think so, because like they did with gliding, it's a marketing trick for new players to go, oh, I can get mounts if I buy Path of Fire, So I think they'll add it to at least core. It might be kind of difficult in Heart of Thorns, though, because of the weird verticality of it. Maybe. No? All right.
Yeah. What were you saying earlier?
I forgot.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
I have to deal with the doggy.
Oh, no, I'm just sitting here dogging myself. It's cool. No. Not you, Kit. You're fine. You're a guest. But I'll give Isarii a hard time for not picking up, not picking up what I'm putting down. He's just left me hanging. You left me hanging, bruh. Left me hanging.
That's what I do.
Okay, so are you done with mounts now? Can I move on?
I love mounts.
Okay. Are you just saying that because you've seen it?
What about her? What does she think? She's the more player here. You're just casual.
This is true.
Remember, she told us she has to wait for you, so that means she plays.
This is true. I played a lot longer than needed. I played Silver Waste day.
Do you want to
after
log
day
on
after
and slash
day
age
after
right
day. Yeah, well.
That's
Standing
how-
AFK
like
at the
bonding,
auction
like,
house
do
doesn't
something else.
mean anything. Wow. Okay.
What's your favorite mount
What's my favorite mount?
that they're adding?
I think the Jackal, just because I like dogs.
Jackal. It's Jackal. Jackal. Anyway.
Good reason.
Sorry, did
I
you
just
get
don't
my...
like the skimmer? It's gross. Everything from the ocean
Oh,
is
I
gross.
love the skimmer. Actually, it's my
I
favorite.
think it's cool.
I think
it's cool looking. but
Wrong.
I'm just missed.
Wrong.
I don't know. I just watched Moana earlier, so I think maybe that's why I like the skimmer so much. But anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do it. I bet the skimmer would be delicious though.
It probably would.
No.
Mm.
Next
Served
year
up with a
we
side
eat
of quaggin. Yum yum.
Never.
I
Yeah,
would totally
it's a
eat a
horrible
quaggin.
thing to
Leave
say.
the sea creatures alone.
Quaggins are friends, not food.
Exactly.
Quaggins are always food. They're like poplars from Futurama. Yeah. Anyway.
They do look pretty delicious. Look at them. I'll
Deep
tease
fried. Oh yeah, they're all fatty too. Oh, it's great. All that deliciousness in one round package. Anyway, did you catch my Anchorman reference? No. I like
No.
mounts. Are you saying that just because you saw it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
them. There.
Okay.
You're very funny. Well done.
Yeah, well. You led up to it, and then I played right off of it, and you didn't even get it. It's because you went away. Our sync is gone. Like, you would play right off that before, and now you're not. And, you know, it's a problem.
I need more alcohol.
There you go. All right, so new elite specializations are coming. Some of them are kind of neat. Some of them are kind of weird. We're going to go through this, talk about these. And, I mean, honestly, with how long we've been going, I don't want to go too much into most of them. What is everyone's main class that they're playing? Like, I'm a Guardian.
Let's go one by one.
Okay. All
I
right.
have opinions on every. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
No, you don't.
Yes,
I know
you
you.
do.
Yeah, I might.
You
Kit.
probably do.
We're gonna go with Kit first because she's the guest. Kit, which one of these elite specs are the one that you're most excited about? And
The
why?
Guardian one. What is it called? I don't even
Firebrand.
remember. Look.
Can't all say Guardian. No.
Oh, I'm not gonna say
What?
Guardian because I actually
That's
have a
my main-
note.
Okay, Firebrand first, and then the
Wait,
Druid.
are the three of us
or
all
not Druid,
Guardian
but the Soul Beast, because I get to consume my pets, and I think that's really cool.
Can you have a quaggin pet to consume it? Because
I wish that'd
No.
be cool as hell. Even though I don't want to eat the person, but I think it'd be cool, like underwater kind of combat. Use the quaggin to kind of absorb and be that. But
to what? Be a chicken nugget or a quaggin nugget? Quaggin nugget. I see Sweet Pink said that. So cool.
other than that, like I don't really play. I play all the other classes like temperate. Like I'm more just Guardian Ranger as main.
Yeah.
I suck with Thief, so I don't really care. But I do know Thief is going to be very broken in Roll World because you just hide in stealth and then like shoot someone.
Yeah, I'm already not happy about that.
The dead
I'm
eye.
hoping
Yeah.
that gets nerfed at the beginning, but other than that, Revenant, I think it's really cool. If you haven't played recently, a lot of people are saying, because I haven't got to hear it myself, but a lot of friends who play Revenant, the Revenant specs are talking to you now, so like they communicate back and forth with you. So make sure you have your sound on if you want to hear it. So like when you're switching to Glint and Shiro and them, they kind of communicate now. And a lot of people are thinking that because if you saw at the beginning of that trailer, Ritlock took off his blindfold, and he said because he basically got the loud noises to settle down that he could take that off finally. And so there you go into the process of the newest elite spec for Revenants, where it's the the Char or something. I gotta look. The Renegade.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was about to say. Your Naifu on your Shadow Priest when
Yeah,
you
my
went into
Shadow
Surrender to
Priest
Madness
and the
that would talk
weapon
to
that
you.
would
Or no,
make
it
you
was
go
the
crazy, or-
the legendary would talk to you.
Yeah,
the
the
Naifu.
legendary, the Naifu, yeah. It was creepy and awesome. It would just talk to you, and you'd look in chat,
That's
and it's
awesome.
just muttering off some like old gods crap.
you should. So what are your guys' classes? Are we all Guardians here, or do you guys got some?
Pretty much.
I mostly do Ranger, so the Soul Beast is
But
the one I'm
also
going to do,
Guardian.
but also Guardian.
I
Yeah.
think the Scourge is going to be really cool for Necros, though. Like, I don't play Necro, but I think it's going to be really cool because it's something different and unique and kind of helps them be a support a little bit instead of just being condies and poison and whatever.
I think I might play Elementalist this expansion.
Yeah,
So
Ellie,
we'll
that
see.
one looks cool too. Even though
that's my
like you
second
said, the combos, you gotta, if you want to be a real Ellie, you gotta really know how to push your buttons.
So I think that might be my goal this time. Learn to be good at Ellie. I'll start with staff and go from there, because staff is easy. But yeah, why don't we just go down the list really quickly?
Well, I
think
things
they
I
all
wanna
have some cool
say.
stuff. Okay, say what you want to say. Wait, isn't that a song?
It may be. All right, we'll go down because I'll say it when I get to it. But that's.
Okay.
I wasn't actually going to say Guardian, even though that's what I play. Mine was more of a lore rant, but that's okay. We'll get to
On
that.
second thought, maybe we don't need to do that.
Well, yeah, because I actually with my lore rant. You want me to go into the lore rant right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
No, you do it when we get there. Damn it.
Oh, fine. All right. Engineer sucks.
Yep.
Okay, actually, yeah, I don't know. The Hollowsmith, really visually cool, but I don't care about it.
No one cares about engineer. Like
yeah,
ever.
They're getting swords.
Period.
They have like lightsabers that they can summon and other light weapons. It should be awesome, but
I think some of the bias is the fact it was an Azura that they showed, and it automatically
Azura,
put a
yeah.
bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, oh.
I was like, there's some sort of deformed cat shark on the screen right now, and it's very glowy.
I mean,
It always
probably
made me kind of
radioactive.
sad that the engineer always kind of sucked because I always liked the steampunk
Well, the,
aesthetic that
the last-
they started out. 'Cause that was
The
first
hammer
thing that-
engineer is awesome though.
the scrapper, the
Yeah.
elite spec. Yeah, I heard it's pretty good in PvP. Again, I don't even see that many engineers are like really. Maybe it's just the circle of people I run with, but even when I'm in the open world, I don't see very many engineers. Kit, is that like a common trend? Maybe she got eaten by her dog. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll come back to her. So obviously the engineer's getting swords, and
I think their kit-based playstyle just doesn't sit well with a lot of people. I don't personally like it either.
I mean it's unique.
Get a lot in World v World.
There are definitely some cheesy PvP builds you can do. They were
Yeah.
fantastic in raids with condition damage, but
I don't.
yeah.
Again, if someone really loves engineer, that's awesome. But it never grabbed me, and when I did play one, it just I don't know. It just felt clunky. I didn't like it.
Yep.
And
No one cares about Engie.
yeah,
Then
Well-
Guardian. Oh, no, you're back. Okay.
I don't know. Look, I have 3 people on my dang podcast that are all about engineers, so whenever I talk about other stuff, they'll be like, just use an engineer, use a flamethrower, just use an engineer, you can use a kit. And I'm like, God, they're boring to me though. And they're like, as someone put, it's like almost one of the devs responded to someone in the Reddit where they posted like a video of them playing the engineer and showing how complicated it is. And the dev literally said it's like playing an instrument. So I would never step foot
yeah.
touching an engineer, because props to the people that can play them, because it's too much button pushing to
Right.
get
Yeah.
your skills
Now
and
that-
combos and damage out. Like,
Now that Wolfeneer is no longer making content, there's no hope for figuring them out. Engineers are just a mystery. Locked in
Colin
Enigma
told
and the rest
me
of that.
a while back at a con that engineer was supposed to be a joke. It wasn't supposed to be out. And then originally, I guess it just got liked, and then it came out.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see it. But I'm gonna actually read the description because I like doing my announcer voice.
That's fine. Go for it.
Yeah, so we got the engineer, the Hollowsmith. By harnessing the power of the sun, shut up.
To read
Hollowsmiths
it
can
like a
create.
mad scientist voice. That
I can't do that. Can you?
By harnessing the power of the sun. No, I don't know.
You
We
keep
need
going.
a
No, I want to
white
hear you finish this.
I never finished what I start. It's fine.
Obviously, Hollowsmiths can create semi-solid constructs of light. They wield swords in battle and gain access to powerful light weapons in their volatile photon forge mode. So I know, like, one of the interesting thing is, like, it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy XIV with the machinist and generating heat, because they say about generating heat. This is something that they
Yeah.
mentioned. If you generate too much heat, you'll explode. Does that mean they die?
I saw that. I hope so. Probably. I
Well-
hope they at least take damage.
I'm curious about that, because there's also one of the classes, I think the warrior or the thief, but they're doing an MO thing now too, like a reload on your MO. So I don't know if Engie is part of that as well, but one of the classes, basically, they were showing off, I guess you have to actually load up your MO and stuff like that.
I hope it's just like a Bright Wizard in Warhammer, where
Yeah.
you like, yeah, you heat up and you heat up and you're doing mad deeps and then you do too much mad deeps and you explode.
And you mad deeps yourself.
Best class design ever.
You could do that in WoW, I think, with the Shadow Priest too. Remember
Yeah.
You could
that
kill
one?
yourself, yeah.
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 That's
All
awesome.
the Shadow Priests die at the end of every fight.
Just falling
Love it.
over.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about them. So Guardian and their new elite spec, the Firebrand. These zealous...
The greatest and best class.
Agreed. These zealous lore keepers are skilled in conjuring magical fire, and they use axes and mantras in close combat. Their virtues are replaced by conjured tomes, which act as weapons to rebuke enemies and protect allies. So you're essentially a glorified librarian who beats people with books.
By the way, thank you, ArenaNet, for giving the Paladin class Aura's second.
Oh, I could do that too.
I remember when Revenants got auras and my Guardian didn't. I was like, I was not amused. But yeah, no, this looks a lot more like what I would have expected than Dragon Hunter. Don't get me wrong, I really like Bow. I really like my Guardian. I love Dragon Hunter. It's a little bit easy, I guess, but I like it. It was a good addition. But this sort of support focused toolkit sounds really cool, and I really like the way they've brought the tomes back as essentially engineer
Frantic typing, I hear.
frantic typing. The way they brought the tomes back is very much like an engineer kit, where you press you select it and it brings you up a whole new skill bar with new abilities.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fun. It looks like, I've heard it's a lot more difficult than the other Guardian builds have been previously. You've just got a lot more going on that you're managing, and I'd love to have some complexity in my Guardian, so I'm definitely sort of looking forward to this. I'm not sure it's going to be the exact thing that I'm going to play, just because having to give up the bow it's a big ask, going back to not having range, especially since they just needlessly nerfed my staff.
I mean, you have
And
Scepter.
yeah, I was about to say, you have to use Scepter, the worst weapon in the game. I
hate
really
Scepter so much
on Guardian,
like all classes. It's so boring.
Especially Guardian.
boring.
Like
Yes.
it's like
Yes,
the that
right now.
stick where you put the tennis ball and throw it for your dog. If the balls moved like bubbles instead of tennis balls.
Do you remember when the game first came out and it was slow as crap? You're like
people
throwing
could
like
outrun
5
it.
balls before.
I mean, people in PvP would literally outrun it.
They would outrun that, and then the spirit weapons too. But now the spirit weapons are kind of upgraded. They're supposed to be following you and supposed to be doing certain things, but so the AI on those things are a little.
I think the AI.
Apparently, they just changed the spirit weapons. I haven't tried it. I don't think anybody has because nobody uses them. But I think I saw that they added the.
Well, when I want to be really random and freak people out in PvP, like
Sometimes I
just throw them
put
off their
on my
game.
bar.
Yeah, they think you're going to be running traps. Like, you just put one trap down, but then you just have the rest of your spirits, and you just boom, boom, boom. And then
I'm
just
either
get thrown off.
trolling with all of the spirit weapons
Yeah.
or not using any of them. It's one of the.
They're just like, where'd this hammer come from? Whomp, walk them out.
But now, if I read the patch notes right, and I think this is live, the way the spirit weapons work is you've got ammo charges for them, a different number, and you activate it, and then the weapon just shows up and does like one big hit and then goes away. So.
I haven't tried them since the patch.
Maybe I invented all of this. Yeah, like I said, theoretically there is a way to try spirit weapons in game. I hear nobody's done it yet. Yeah, but if they haven't changed it, they're going to, and it can't be worse.
Right. Guardians, of course, get the axe now as their new weapon.
No, I'm so excited. I'm actually working on Frostfang for it.
I actually want that the spectral one.
That he talked about, because of 3 months or 4 months ago of knowing the leak, I was just like, right away when I saw like the leak, like picture specialization art, I was like, okay, axe.
What is the legendary axe called? I can't remember.
There's 2 of them, isn't it? Like Astral.
The Astral one is the one I want.
Yeah.
I don't want the other one.
There's the Jormat or Frostfang for the old school one, and then there's the Astral one for the newest one.
Astral one's the cool one. I'm going to be going for that.
Frostfang has like this cool blue glow to it though, which is very Guardian-y.
Legendaries anyway, so Frostfang is a lot better looking. The Meteor Logicus, whatever the heck that name was, that one's got better stuff. Quip, like a lot of them actually have gotten better upgrades on their footfall. So if you haven't played with your old school ones or seen the old ones, I would go preview them because they added a lot. Oh, the Warhorn, the Howler, it got better. It doesn't look all dorky now. It actually has its effects because apparently it didn't before.
Wow.
And
I remember that.
I actually have a suggestion for ArenaNet. Like, I would love if you actually, like whatever the term is, not transmog, not glamour, whatever it is, whatever the illusion is. I would like it if you were transmogging a legendary to still have the effects around if you wanted. Like,
I think a lot of people want that too.
Because I don't like my stupid freaking.
I know.
I don't.
have Twilight, and I like the football effects. It's just I don't like the sword because it doesn't match my dang outfit.
Exactly.
I want to be mashing.
Nice. So it'd be actually really neat if you could at least choose to like you worked on this legendary. You want people to know you have one, but if you glamour it or whatever the term is for changing its appearance, you lose all those effects. I have Sunrise and I love I like the swing effect, like when you're swinging and you got that orange glow in the sky. The footfalls are great. I just don't like the look of the sword, and I would much rather have something else, but I have the option of keeping, those secondary effects. So if someone else has mentioned already, that's awesome.
Yeah, because they brought in, like, the infusions, and so a lot of people, they want to have, like, certain parts of their, like, legendary armor effects or legendary weapon effects with their infusions, but then they can't because of the way. So I'm hoping later on they find a way to. It seems like they're slowly kind of getting there of, like, being able to dye our gliders now, and they might possibly do that, but I feel like that won't be for a while. I don't think that's on their books of priority.
Yeah, probably not, and that's a shame. All right, so next up, the Deadeye from the Thief. Mercenaries for hire Deadeye's stalk and mark their targets and generate malice towards them. Well, that's kind of dickish. Increasing damage and harassing them with harmful effects. They use rifles for precise kills. So obviously got new rifles. We talked about Thief. They seem OP.
Yeah, well, in PvP anyway.
Well, yeah. I don't know. And I guess for anyone who is listening who hasn't played Guild Wars 2, I know we say they add new weapons. You don't actually have to use them. My Guardian, who is actually a dragon hunter, doesn't use a longbow. I actually use greatsword and scepter and torch.
Because it's not a very good weapon.
Well, I mean, even if it is, but you're not forced
I use it anyway,
into it.
I don't care.
You don't care.
Yeah.
You just want to be that bow paladin you keep trying to make in every game. That's all it is.
I succeeded. But yeah, I don't know. I think Rifle for Thief is good. Thieves just die all the time in my experience, so maybe if they are now able to stay really far away from things, they will be dead less in my fractal runs. So pretty excited about that. Maybe won't have to kick thieves as soon as I see them join.
I'm still never going to play it. I don't like the idea of being a sniper.
Yeah, it's actually really funny, like, because when you see this, the only thing I thought of this when they first announced, like when I first saw the trailer, was that April Fool's joke with the commando, and I'm like, oh, did they really have to? They really have to link the April Fools into the launch trailer? And then I saw, I'm like, oh, it's a real thing, huh?
I'm curious to see how it'll be different than the Warrior Rifle, which is already a sniper.
Yeah. Speaking of Warrior and their new specialization, the Spellbreaker, the broken weapons of Sun Spears have become daggers in the hands of their descendants, which they use to strike at the very fabric of magic and strip it from their foes. They meditate to see past their enemies' defenses, and they use their adrenaline to counterattacks. I am pissed, okay? Because I actually have a note here, because they get daggers. And my note, and I'm going to read this verbatim, sad they cheaped out by giving them daggers instead of spears like the original Sun Spears had in Guild Wars 1 and tied in a weak lore reason for it. My spear broke. Oh, it's a dagger now.
Wow.
I mean, that's literally what they said.
That's funny.
The broken weapons of Sun Spears have become daggers. They tied in a weak lore reason because they didn't want to add spears.
I didn't catch that, but that's about the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I liked
That's
my
bad.
Paragon, like the Paragon with their spear. I love that thing,
Yeah,
and
I do too.
I was. It just kind of felt like, okay, you didn't want to add spears.
We know they're
Today-
not going to add weapons though, because they'd have to add so many skins.
They are adding what? Well, it's hard. Are you allowed to say spoilers about Shaman? Because he leaked it. Well, not really leaked. He showed off all the armor and
sure, why
weapon
Yeah, go for it.
sets today.
So they are adding new weapon types?
Yeah, if you go, well, I don't know if the stats wise, but as for skin wise, it looks like they're kind of doing what they did with Heart of Thorns. Each map has a set to collect and do, and armor set, stuff like that. So if you have Twitter and you don't care about spoilers, or Dolphy, if you don't know her website, go to That Shaman or go to Dolphy. They both have the previews up right now of like current armors, everything, and weapons. It happened about 10 a.m. today, so if you haven't kind of peeked around for stuff, they're cool. Like some of it looks like dervish armor, which is
I love the dervish.
like the style wise, but overall they look very Nightfall-y. I like it. So I think Dolphy's is better because she also shows the cool Ellie lightsaber sword for their weapon. A better version of it.
One.
Yeah, a better
I see.
version of it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, okay.
Shaman's
So
is kinda
I'm
blurry.
definitely playing my elements
Yeah.
list for the expansion. I'm sold.
Wow.
It's done.
I
I
think,
think like the white
Warriors.
bottom weapon set on Dolphy's page is the set I really like. It's very, because it has a magic lamp and everything, so it's very cool.
I think Warriors with spears would be fun though, because that would be like
Yes,
being
I
like a
would hope so.
Legionnaire though.
Just linked it in
Yes,
chat, by the
yeah,
way.
that would be
I
fun.
agree.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
pulled it up too.
Yeah, Dolphy's better because even Shaman was like, go to Dolphy because she got it to color code better because his was a little bit blurry and all other stuff. So go to hers if you want to at least see the difference of the colors and all the skin weapons because his only had just the armor, I think, on his link. So,
Yeah.
but both are good if you want to go to either one.
I was kind of hoping the Spellbreaker's daggers they do kind of look like spear tips, I guess, but I was hoping they'd like give them sort of a long haft or something so it would look...
But it's cool that you get to see like the pre-weapon first and then the weapon after. So I'm kind of more hyped to be like, oh, I want to play, you know, my.
Oh,
dark-
man. Okay, not to get off on a real tangent, but Aggelos, look at these luminous weapons.
I know, I saw them already. Yeah.
I'm getting engorged on Paladin hype right now.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to stop.
Well, at least now you guys have something new on your podcast today to talk about. I figured everyone saw it because it was like a big deal.
Great.
Well,
One more weapon that I will actually use over Sunrise. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that money down the drain. And just because she's here, hey babe. At least I got Dawn.
I hate you.
Wow.
How many years later?
I hope
4.
I
Yeah.
pops you. Like that's what I would do.
I'm being recorded, so if you hit me, it's spousal abuse.
I'll hit you later.
There you go.
Yeah.
Us women, we know we'll get you offline when no one sees you.
That was an insult I used against her for almost everything. I said we talked about that pre-show. I'm like, hey, at least I got Dawn because I got the precursor back before there was the whatever it is, the scavenger hunt. So I got that a while ago, and I got it from the Karka event. Like the very end, it was the last day of the Karka event. Like the big thing, because if you remember Living World Season 1, if you weren't there, you missed it. And it was the big Karka event. We killed the Karka queen, and when she dropped...
It was also the most buggy map ever because they had so many crashes.
Oh yeah,
God.
and that
It
was
their
the
first,
funny
I think,
part.
Big event too, or something.
Yep.
So
I mean, we were all getting disconnected. I just happened to get in and be able to get a few hits on the queen, and then she died, and I looted her. Dawn, and I flipped. I'm like, because that was the exact legendary I wanted. That was the one I was going for. So that was our joke. At least I got Dawn. So
just as a heads up, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to go for that staff legendary. I'm just going to hoard my gold and buy every single one of those luminous weapons when they come out.
when you talked earlier about collecting, I was like, well, I don't know if you've seen the link today.
I had not because I was out eating burgers. But
burgers are better.
yeah, I have
to be
8
honest.
tickets, so that'll get me at least 4 of them. Hopefully.
Yeah.
yeah.
So then I just got to
don't
buy
make
the
your
rest.
girl wait longer to make her weapon. You better
Hey,
help her in the process.
You better hope she gets it before those weapons come out. Or
Definitely not.
Regularity
Or else
harder.
I'm looting her account.
Just remember this, document this VOD, and highlight this clip of your soon-to-be husband saying he's gonna help you.
I said nothing of the sort.
Blackmail.
Clearly, you don't understand how this works. She's like eye daggering you so hard with those broken spears that they make. No, see, I'm bitter about this.
Still better.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, next up,
Mesmer, the
worst
Mirage.
class.
Actually, she plays Mesmer, so this is actually something my wife who I just walked by. So they get a Mirage.
What
You're
are they
gonna
good for?
you're gonna want to pay attention to this part.
Okay.
So Mirages move through battle like shifting sand, cloaking themselves rather than dodging attacks. Their graceful swirling axes and prismatic mirrors are
of
as
course, and it gets
deceptively
everywhere.
beautiful as they are deadly. So you get a new weapon, the axe. And the one thing that's interesting about Mirage now is a new mechanic is you don't get a dodge anymore. You literally get this weird phase shift where weapons just pass through you now. Okay.
It's interesting. There's definitely situations where not moving will be beneficial, but sometimes you want to move.
The look
it'll be
that she's
interesting to see how
giving
that
me
game
right
takes
now, she looks like what is the Goonies? The guy with the Snickers? I don't remember because I don't watch Goonies.
place. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, okay. Anyway, if you watch the Goonies, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, oh. I'm just going to look here at the screen and do my podcasting work. So, Mesmer, who actually plays one?
horrible people.
I don't know.
I suck at Mesmer, and I even streamed it one day because no one believed me. They're like, play Mesmer, do it. And
I
was like, okay,
play
you guys wanna see
Mesmer.
this car wreck happened, let's do it. And I got on, and I was just like messing up, getting beat up by people because I was like, how do I like blend in with my clones? Like, how do you people do this?
I don't understand how to play a Mesmer at all. I
Yeah,
don't know
no,
how their
I give
mechanics work.
props to the people who play it because it's just as difficult as Ellie. Like, you just gotta know like how to move out, and if you don't, you look real obvious and you get picked out real fast. So-
You know, and it's actually really funny because I just noticed chat, and I want to say this. So Luke TR808 actually, corrected me. Spears are in the game already as crappy underwater weapons.
yeah, pretty much.
And they gave up on making
don't
skins
count.
for those, so my point still stands.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I would like to see them above ground or above water because
I
they're
think
awesome.
sooner or later they'll come with a class like that. I think, obviously, look at the Ellie. Everyone really wanted that sword Ellie at the first time for Heart
Yep.
of Thorns. Instead, they got Warhorn, and now this time you're getting the sword. So I think sooner or later, each class is going to get like a weapon of each thing.
Well, eventually
Yeah.
every class will be able to do every weapon, and
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, now we have to start adding new stuff, or else
Yep.
no more elite specs.
Yeah, I don't know the backtracking to create skins or
Mhm.
just the amount of bitching when they don't do that they'll have to go through if they add a new weapon type is going to be
Yeah, that's true.
pretty phenomenal.
I mean, are there really that many skins? I mean, yeah, I know
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I
Oh,
know
yeah.
there are, but when I look at my greatsword, like I look at the cabinet, there's what 30. If you don't count the Black Lion chest stuff, which I doubt they're going to go back and add.
Yeah, I was
well,
gonna say,
that's kind
the
of
normal
what
basic
I'm
stuff.
talking about.
The normal basic stuff, there's 30 of them, and like
Yeah. Nobody
5
cares
of them
about
are the same
Yeah.
thing.
Everyone
They're just
only
different
cares about
color
that skin
variation.
life now.
I'm definitely talking about the fancy skins. Yeah.
Mm.
I
Oh.
mean, I if I get all of the luminous weapons, or I already have all of the Balthazar weapons, I would want a matching one for the new weapon. And people that are more unhinged than me would go on social media and lose their damn minds.
Instead, you'll just come on this
thing.
podcast and complain about it when your Savari looks weird when it pulls out that spear, and it's like, doesn't fit my Balthazar.
Balthazar theme. By the way, yeah, my Balthazar themed Sylvari not having a good couple run of expansions here.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, the Necromancer is now getting elite spec of the Scourge.
Finally, group utility.
Yeah, right. Scourges channel their life force into the desert sands to summon biddable shades that damage enemies and create shields for their allies. They use punishment skills to torment their enemies, and they wield torches to light the path to their destruction.
Finally, the shield stacking meta from ESO.
Yeah, and actually... Okay, so they're getting torches, and the funny that you say shield stacking, because there now is a new thing that's coming with Path of Fire, which we don't really have in our notes, but I probably should add it here. It's essentially a damage shield. What's it called? Barrier now? Barrier is being added as a damage shield with Path of Fire. So yes, shield stacking meta from ESO.
Hooray! But yeah, group utility for Necro is really good. It's got really cool like yellow sand effects, so I'm into it.
The interesting part is they lose their Death Shroud, though. Like, that's the core mechanic at this point. They lose Death Shroud, and now they gain the ability to pretty much lay life force into these pools on the ground that cause damage or protect people. It's funny that I remember, again, shout out to Wooden Potatoes, love you. Anyway, that he was making note that the Necromancer in this Scourge, he's gonna love to see the idea of how Scourge is going to affect group gameplay because of the support capabilities that now it seems it's gonna have. Like it might be
like Necros might get invited to groups.
Yeah, no, like literally, it might almost come to a point where Necros are the meta to do certain content.
Reapers are actually good, so it's that joke stated. But
wow,
I remember back in the days when the game first started, how Necros were never invited to anything because they were sort of sucky at the beginning.
Now
and no one wanted
we only have
them.
Rangers that way.
Yeah. Now the Ranger is like the one that's like the stepchild of the batch right now.
Why you gotta hate
Thanks
my
a lot,
second class? It's actually a shame. I love the look of my Ranger, but I'm sitting there going, I might as well just not get too attached to this thing.
I play leather classes. Please, just stop making trench coats. It just makes them like normal other tops and bottoms. But it looks like they kind of did with this.
Butt capes are coming. Butt
Yeah.
capes are coming.
I'll take anything. It's really hard as a Sylvari Ranger. Everything looks terrible.
Oh yes, that's another thing. Based on your race too, it's kind of the outfits and armor kind of work for certain things, and then sometimes it don't.
Like any char anywhere.
Yeah, your shoulders are basically chopping your heads off every single time because it's got big arms. And
Don't
big
forget the
shoulder
butt
blades.
capes.
Yes,
Yep,
the butt capes.
Butt
They're
capes.
gonna be awesome.
The
Very
butt.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, gotta love them butt capes. Elementalist and the Weaver. Weaver's can attune two different elements simultaneously.
Someone's been smoking loads of crack at ANET.
Yeah, right. Definitely cycling from... Wow. Definitely cycling... You just threw me off. Thanks a lot. From hand to hand to combining them to powerful effect. They favor swords in battle, and they channel the strength of the elements using their stance skills. Obviously, all the whining and complaining has gotten Elementalist swords.
Woo! Now I want a great sword.
Now I want a great sword.
So my understanding is that they have two different stances that they choose at once, and basically one is the left side of their bar with the existing abilities, right, and the other is the right side of their bar with existing abilities, and then a new ability that's a blend of the two elements happens in the center. That's how the Weaver works?
Yes, that's what I'm gathering. I'm assuming it's like you said, 1 through 5 is fire, and then you got 1 through 5, then 6 is your heal, 7 through whatever is going to be your other side, and then you have your elite, which might be the duplicate of the two. I don't know.
Okay, I think that's too many.
Maybe that is too many. I don't know. I might be wrong.
1 and 2 would be your element 1.
No,
5
okay.
Would be element 2.
You don't think
And
you're going to
then
lose your
3's
utility
the middle.
skills for this?
Yeah, no, I think they're staying there.
Okay.
I thought they said they were staying.
You can also find footage of people playing the class on the internet already.
I don't know because I didn't look for Elementalists because I don't play them.
Yeah.
So,
But no, that's what it looks like to me, is that you highlight 2 at once and your weapon abilities change. So I don't know for sure if they're the same abilities. I think it's just the center ones that they added, which is still like, for each weapon and all possible element combinations, a
That's
shit
a
ton
lot.
of skills.
yeah.
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 So I'm really excited for that. That might get me to make my elementalist no longer my second class, but my primary class, which will kind of suck because I have to get ascended gear again.
I don't even have ascended gear. I have
I have a full plate set.
I have all my jewelry and my weapon because I got a
Jewelry doesn't
legendary.
even count.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I don't got anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, the cool part is if you do make Ascended and you don't care about the stats, you can just restat it now with the Mystic Forge, so
Yeah.
you
Can
don't have to waste much money.
I didn't even
can
know
I
you.
make it light armor instead?
Oh, no, sadly, yeah. If it's
Yeah.
heavy, it stays heavy only in, yeah.
I didn't even know you could restat it. That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's new. It's not that expensive either, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
You do lose your rune though. That can get expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does suck. Anyway, well, probably not as expensive as having to rebuild the exact same set, but in a different
You can
trait.
do it with armor and the weapons. You just can't do it with the trinkets and rings. So if you have any weapons that you get from like drops from like Tupato, then you can be like, I don't use shaman stats, so Zerk. There you go. Throw in a mystic forge, switch it, make sure you have the stat that you have to get, and then ectos, and then the book, and you're done.
Nice.
So
Ranger.
The Soul Beast. The bond between the Soul Beast and their pet is so strong that they become one in spirit. By channeling their pet, they become a single entity, attacking with fang-like dagger strikes and using the abilities of their companion and its archetype.
Finally, shackled from their bonds of shitty AI.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm running around the zone with my ranger, and all of a sudden my bear's off doing...
It's just back there fighting.
I don't know what it... Sometimes it's ahead of me.
Doing bear things.
It's ahead of me, too. I'm sitting there going, how do you know where I'm going? Like, you know...
At least it's not as bad as the hunter pets in WoW. Have you seen, like, where their pets will pull something from another instance?
Yes.
I saw a hunter once pull like a raid boss into the open world and it hit them.
Well, that's how that plague spread the entire time in, like, vanilla, where they...
Oh, yeah. Well, that was on purpose and awesome.
Yeah, well...
I'm just talking about bugs.
Yeah, no. Well, it was a bug, but when they realized they could do it, they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
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 That wasn't a bug. That was creative use of game mechanics.
I love that. Anyway, daggers are their new weapons. Will this make Ranger good? No. I don't know.
I didn't hear. I haven't heard anything
Probably
about
not.
new group utility, right?
No.
Well, I mean,
No.
they do have Druid, which is good in like 1 or 2 game modes.
Yeah.
Daytime raid.
Yeah, raid, that's pretty much about it, I guess.
PvP too, right? Structure PvP.
I don't...
It was last season and season before this season. I don't know.
Womp womp. They're probably good in World v World. I'd give them that.
Oh yeah, definitely World v World for sure.
There's so 2, possibly 3 game modes.
Yay.
Very exciting.
I guess.
Yeah.
It gave me hope, because I kind of like that, but then at the time, I'm just sitting there going, yeah, I don't want to get hopes up for my poor Ranger, because if I start liking it...
No pet is great though.
yeah, no,
I
that's
just
one
think
system
that
used to be
makes it
fixed.
accessible to so many players. It's just so many of us just hate pets.
Yeah.
They're very pain in the ass in World of World, especially if they get tagged and stuff. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
wish there was a better system for their pets, but ugh.
It's, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Finally, we have the last one, the Revenant and the Renegade. The legendary Char Revolutionary Kala Scorchrazor lends the power of her warband to Revenants who summon her from the mist. Renegades fight with a short bow, firing conjured arrows through mist portals to blindside their enemies.
Revenants finally shackled to shitty AI.
I don't even know what to do with Revenants.
I don't know how it's working. Like, if there's really an AI component, it looks like there's a couple like persistent summons, but mostly it's just damage skills with like a summoning animation.
It
But
kind of reminds me of the Warden, where it's like you summon a Cliff Racer that's literally just a damage attack with an animation of
Yeah.
a pet. Yeah, I'm hoping they get away from the AI related things, and it really is
It might.
just attacks.
it might be fun thematically. I'm a bit meh on it, but I mean it might work just fine.
I'm a bit meh on Revenants, period. But
I think they're kind
me.
of they're having trouble
I
finding.
kind of
stuff
just
that
wish they
they're
would have picked a different
useful at.
char basically to represent that. Because I think like Pyre and the guys from Guild Wars 1 would have been better. So I don't know.
Who was the Flame Legion scout who was found beyond the walls? Doomtooth or something?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Ah, yes.
He would have been interesting. And I mean, it's not like they haven't used legends that were bad. Cough, Shiro, cough. You know, like, at least
I think they should have saved Shiro if they plan on releasing head to factions, that is, area. Kantha. I think that should have been saved for that, because it would have made more sense and kind of cool, because you're kind of like unlocking the history back then.
Please
But-
no more Asian themed anything in MMOs ever.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Yeah.
It's bad enough that we have wings everywhere.
Yeah, wings
Goddamn
every.
weeaboos.
And actually, I complained about this. I was sitting there going, "Yeah, it's a pain when everyone has wings." And then I'm like, it's not really fair because Guild Wars 2 does present you with a large variety of different backpack options. It's just
when
the
they
player.
started coming out with the angel wings, I was kind of nervous if they were trying to go off of Ion or Aeon.
Yeah,
Because they are NC Soft and they do the wing thing. So when
Yeah.
the wings first started, I was like, please, God, please do not let this be. I just. No, and then they had the rainbow version, the bronze version, the black version. And I was like,
while after that, you'd go into Heart of the Mist, and everybody would have
yes,
wings.
that's why I didn't like. Someone purchased me the white pair at the first time, and I was like, no, there's like literally everyone and their mom wearing this thing.
I just want more like understated ones that aren't like really crazy over the top.
Yeah,
They show off better if they're put down normal and not only when they're out and about when you're spreading your wings and fly.
I currently use the second tier of the Order of Whispers backpack collection from Heart of Thorns. Yeah, it looks really good without doing. It's nice. It's understated, and I'd like more options like that aren't just enormous.
Yeah.
I have the
and
little
clip through everything
the
because all the
little
enormous
glowy
ones
flower.
clip.
I can't remember what it's called.
the yellow flower.
The yellow flower,
Yeah.
You might like the newest map then for not the newest map for Leaving Story, but the one before that because they kind of have a backpack now of that version, but it's like the druid tree kind of, and it looks like all flowery. So I mean, if you want another flower-like Savarian thing, that's something you can work towards too. It's really pretty.
When I'm not hiding my backpack, I'm using the one from our weaponsmith. So I literally have an anvil in my back.
Yes. Those were dorky when they came out, but so funny at the same time because like each
I
one.
I like the one with the toucan in a cage.
Yes.
That's my favorite.
That one's from the Win thing, the Win event. I can't think.
Yeah.
The 4 Wins or something.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
With,
Because it's been up
crashed
in price now. Slowly, it's all going up in price. Like the holographic wings and the red rose. Like if you want any of the old school stuff, you better get it now because it's like slowly just going up because they're not coming back with those events. So
yeah.
I do like the guild backpack with the guild logo though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially because there's actually a fountain pen icon. Yes.
All right. The final bits that we have to talk about now is I wrote these down because I thought they were kind of neat, and I wanted to talk about them a little bit. When you look at the Heart of Thorns page, obviously they have something marked as new rewards saying collect and upgrade armor sets and weapon skins that reflect the beauty, magic, and history of the desert. I wasn't going to add it until I saw the line that said collect and upgrade, and I'm sitting there going, are these going to be like the legendary armor, or is it going to be something similar to the backpacks from Heart of Thorns that you got like a basic one, and then as you were doing more stuff and could collect it, these armor skins you can get like level 1, and then you can keep upping the tier? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that, or am I just reading too much into it?
I think it would be really cool if it was a smaller scale version of the legendary collection that makes ascended armor maybe a little bit less ramrodded through crafting, a little bit more. I don't know, just provides an alternate route. I don't want to say easier or more accessible, but just a different, maybe more thematic path to follow towards ascended armor.
Well, I would definitely say, I don't even say ascended or the legendary, because it is
where you upgrade it from exotic
Yeah.
to ascended as you're going is what I would do.
Yeah. And if you could do that and it changed appearances, that would be kind of neat. Like, if that's something they're going to do, great. But I just, I would have just skipped by that note if I didn't see that upgrade comment, and it made me go,
Yeah, we could be overthinking it.
Kit, am I overthinking it? No, she got eaten by her dog again.
That's a no.
All right.
Yeah, sorry. What was the question?
Well, when they say about new rewards, obviously I said I was going to skip it, but they said about, collecting and upgrading armor sets. And my thought was I would have skipped it if they didn't say this upgrade thing. And am I thinking, is this like a lesser legendary where you get like the backpacks and stuff like that, where you get your order and it gets more elaborate as you upgrade it through whatever?
Could be possibly that for sure, because right now currently they do have like the change of stats, and then they have the legendary armor thing that you can change like the runes to. and then they kind of added it to the other systems, like PvP and World v World now can kind of buy that armor. So I don't know if they mean armor, if they're talking weapons, or if they're talking about something else either. I don't know.
Right.
No clue.
All right. Bounties. They've been added. Kick off challenging boss events whenever
Bounties,
you're ready to take them on.
they're going to be easy peasy for me because I played that Nightfall, so I'm good. I know what that system's about. Most people don't know what it is because, like, you said,
no.
if they never played Guild Wars 1, you don't know about it because you never played it. So
Yeah, I didn't play it before, but it sounds like it's going to be kind of cool.
It kind of reminded me of
definitely
Final
cool.
Fantasy XIV's hunts, but the fact you can summon it.
Yeah.
It definitely is going to be interesting how they're going to set this up. My only concern is hopefully, because like some of them you have to require people, and some people like to go solo. So I'm hoping I don't have to always require everyone being with me, because sometimes you just want to play by yourself or kill like a big badass boss by yourself.
Asari, are you going to jump on this, or can I?
What are we talking about? I don't know what I'm supposed to be jumping on.
Oh my! Who would have thought you actually had to have other people in a frickin' MMO to do stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that's why I waited for you to jump on that, because you're like, oh, people are going to play because I can't do it solo.
Yeah. People are dumb. Yep. The reason I like open world content like this is, I think I said this earlier with the events when we were talking very at the beginning about what Guild Wars 2 is to begin with, is just, it's not like a raid where you've got your 10 people. Anybody can come. You can bring your entire guild if you're online, or you can bring your 3 friends.
You don't even have to bring them. They can just show
people
up.
There. Yeah, or go on your own and sit there, and some other people will come do it. I really like that. I enjoy that about Guild Wars 2 a lot.
Yeah. Now, I like these hunt things, these bounties, because I think that'd be kind of interesting. The big thing that's going to come into this is the incentives. I mean, Guild Wars 2 actually is one of those few games that actually does fairly good at incentivizing people to do random stuff. So I can't imagine it won't be decent, at least reward-wise. So that's exciting, and that's something fun that could be a fun guild event type thing to do. I mean,
well, and I think that's what most of them are going to be too. Some are for like actual guild missions. They said for like these type of events, so they're going to be able to spawn things, which makes sense because Heart of Thorns, there wasn't really any guild missions in Heart of Thorns. It was all pre still for guild missions. So
yeah.
They're going to have to spice up the guild missions here, or people are just going to kind of get bored.
Right. I like Balnor in chat. Why can't Overwatch have solo play? You just stand around an arena and win every time and not have to fight.
I mean, I don't mind playing with people. It is an MMO. It's just sometimes I want to be able to beat this champ by myself so I can see if I can actually have damage or not, and not have to sit here and like beat up a normal mob or, Isn't
that the thing? You try, and if you lose, obviously you don't have the damage. You literally answered your own question.
Pretty much.
Sorry. Sarcasm off, but I thought it was funny. Anyway, new Alone in Guildhall, must own Heart of Thorns to claim. We talked about this in the beginning of the show, so we're not really going to hit on it again. Obviously, it's nice to have another Guildhall being added. I
guess my concern is what happens if you want to like transfer your, like, I wonder if they're going to do like Guild Wars 1 where you just paid the one whatever plat to change guilds, but also on Guild Wars 1 we didn't have to unlock everything was already unlocked once you bought it. So in here I'm just curious how, if you want to transfer your guild halls maybe like to the newer one.
Well, they said you would be able to.
Or did they say anything in the video? Because I didn't hear anything.
I didn't say it in the video, but I think they've said it. I think, again, it must have been Wooden Potatoes who told me, because he's pretty much the only guy I listen to for Guild Wars 2
I'm pretty sure
news.
it was in the AMAs and he saw it, yeah.
Yeah, but they did mention, like, you would be able to... Yeah, it was definitely one of the AMAs, because he actually was complaining about you only get to conquer the guild hall once. So anyone who's already conquered a guild hall, you don't get to conquer the next one. You just pay for the shift. And they were mentioning, like, you'd be able to... He's like, so if we already own a guild hall, you mean I can't do the conquer thing again?
I mean, I'm kind of glad, like, it's cool, because then you don't have to do all the work, but yeah, that is kind of weird. I don't...
Well, was it really that much work, and is it worth losing the experience of having to conquer it?
It wasn't. Well, at the beginning, sure, when the game first came out, a lot of things were hard because no one had a clue. But now you can just go in there with like 3 to 4 people and take
Yeah.
a guild hall. So I mean,
Yeah, it's easier with less people.
yeah.
That was pretty funny. All right. Interesting. So final thing we want to talk about is the price points. Obviously, the standard edition comes in at $29.99 and provides a max level boost. The deluxe edition at $54.99 does the max level boost, but also gives you a Sun Spear outfit.
Worst outfit ever.
We will get to that. Lily of the Elon permanent pass, additional character slot, and an identity repair kit. And finally, the Ultimate Edition has all of that plus 4,000 gems for $79.99. If you pre-order, you get the miniature rogue Balthazar, the Elonian Envoy title, and a Sun Spear weapon skin of your choice. All right, let's talk about the stuff. I was
really excited for the Lily of the Elon pass. Like, is that a SpaceX thing? Can I go to Mars with it?
I assume it's probably something similar to those, like the Queen's whatever, those special areas that you can go to that have all the convenience items in one place, you know.
But how is it related to Elon Musk?
Asking the important questions.
You're just gonna have to find out in the lore, I guess. Do some exploring. I don't know.
Maybe SpaceX just found their way over to Tyria, and it's just like one little hyperloop that you can take.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
possible.
Let's make it happen.
I'm at a loss. I
Here.
really am.
Buy the deluxe edition for the Lily of the Elon permanent pass.
I just
I
want
was,
the additional character slot. I need another one.
I seen like when they released the price, a lot of people were right away complaining on Reddit because they think that they deserve like Heart of Thorns and the other like the basic game at that price instead of being like you have to buy Heart of Thorns at its current price plus like if you want to basically have both games you need to buy Heart of Thorns at its price and then you need to buy the basic of the next one, so you're spending about $60 if you do both basic. It kind of sucks. I can't complain because I feel like every new game deserves its amount of money because that's their income. It's already free as it is. Like, be thankful it's not a subscription fee. So.
Okay. Sorry about that. If anyone noticed the stream kind of glitched out for a second, sorry about that. Dealing with some issues here at the moment. All right, cool.
I think they should at least do a bundle so that
I feel like
And
we should.
they do have a discounted. It's $20 if you buy Heart of Thorns.
Yeah, so
with
then you're about
that
50. If you do basic, the new basic one, and that one, it's about $50, $60 if you total all the items you get in it, which is not bad for that price. Even if I were just brand new coming into that game, I'd be like, okay, that's pretty decent.
I do think though that it should be included, not for fairness, just for mechanical reasons. Like we
yes,
talked about
I agree with that too, though. So it's a double-edged sword with Mo's comment of everyone can be able to jump right in. Like, okay, I'll just pull out my wallet then and have to catch up behind. Like, I don't know. I'm probably gonna definitely get the second one, the second price one, just because I do want some of the cool things. I don't really care for gems. I feel like that was just their way of being like here, because now, as you notice, there's a lot of sales going on now.
Yeah. Not all of us have more gold than the game will allow us to carry. Okay.
So now everyone's like, "Oh, I get gems." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't need the gems."
But I
Plus,
do
like,
think there's
the
a lot
armor
of value
strike-
there for people that aren't rolling in gold, just because if you're going to buy gems at some point, this basically just makes it so the deluxe edition is
I
free.
just think it's funny that they are getting people to spend it already, because a lot of people are already getting their gems right now currently.
Mm-hmm.
So like all these sales are going on, so everyone's like, I don't know if I should use my gems or hold on until I'm like, hold on until the release. They're trying to get you to spend that stuff, so then you can buy more when it comes out.
Yes. Spending.
Buy all the things.
Right. Well, like you said, 4,000 gems is normally cost you about $50 anyway, so it's kind of like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like,
Unless you're not going to buy them.
well, unless you weren't going to buy them, yeah, obviously at that point, but it's like, if you at any point in time were going to even consider buying them, it's like, all right, so you get all that stuff that you did before. I mean, technically at that price, you're essentially getting all that stuff for the same price as the standard edition, plus you got gems out of it. Like, it really is their best deal overall. Like, it really is. It's nice. I know Zealot in chat, he was the one telling me, we were talking back and forth, he was trying to decide what he was going to get. He was going to do standard edition, and then he sat there and went, after doing some of the math, he's like, oh my goodness, it's actually such a good deal. I guess I have to do it, or else I'm just wasting money at this point. That's what it kind of felt like, which is odd for when you see collector's edition stuff. Normally it feels like, okay, I'm throwing money into this for whatever reason, but I'm clearly losing something.
Right.
All right. Any closing comments from anyone before we end this?
I have nothing to say.
All right.
Quaggan says, "Woo on you." Woo.
Quaggan tastes delicious with
Should
zesty
she not make
sauce.
the Quaggan Shield? She should make the Quaggan Shield if she's a Quaggan fan.
She doesn't like shields though. That's
But it has a Quaggan on it.
I know.
Yeah.
It has a
My
Quaggan in
favorite
it
thing
in
is
captivity.
I like that the
True.
Quaggan's basically being shook around, so it's like confusing to me that he doesn't throw up because you're just like
Quaggan.
swinging your shield
That's
around.
Quaggan abuse.
Quaggans-
It's Quaggan abuse.
Quaggans don't like to be shook.
It's very rude.
Shaking Quaggan syndrome. Shake them up. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching Dungeon Crawlers. Obviously, you can find everything we do. DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com, Twitch.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork. Let's go around and say goodbye to our host and where they can find us. So let's start off with Kit.
You can find me on Twitter at Kit the Traveler, Twitch Kit the Traveler. My website is kitthetraveler.com.
Someone follows our trend.
It's easier. Every time I listen to other people, they're just all over the place. I'm like, I don't know which one to follow. But overall, if you are into the Nicholas the Traveler spirit stuff, almost every weekend, sometimes I'll have like off-ons because real life aggro, but every weekend I post a current story on that page, like at the front page. So if you want to like get in on the weekend, get some loot, just read what I need, and then just send it to me through the mail, and then within whatever time period or how much my mail is filled, I'll send it back to you a reward. And just try to do it once a week, because I have people that do like 5 characters, and it ends up screwing up other people out of chances of gifts. So try to do it once a week, 1 character if you can, and then you're good. Other than that, I stream. If you want to watch me, I mostly stream Guild Wars 2. I think literally like 90% of the community and outside of the community knows me of just Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1 fan, which is fine. And then I do a podcast too, but mine's just Guild Wars 2 theme. So again,
Go ahead.
really
Shout it out.
fun.
This is your time. Go nuts.
It's Kit and the Travelers again. Like,
That was easy.
when we made that name, I was like, what do you guys want to name the podcast? They're like, just name it after you. I'm like, oh my. Try to be different. It's just going to be all Kit the Traveler. Kit the Traveler.
Gotcha. Well, there you go. Just Google it and just click
Yep.
on any link you find that says Kit the Traveler, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to do that. I don't know. They do some weird
Plus,
stuff.
if you go to my website, you can go to my bio, and it gives you a better detail of what I do, because I have the interview that you guys were talking about from the podcast, and then I have also the video interview. So if you want to know a better thing of me, then go there. Cause
So does that mean
I'm
I
a
have to
little-
send you the link to this show so you can add it to your list?
Yeah, because I want to be able to send that out to people. So make sure if you guys can, when you're done recording this, send it to me on Twitter so I can spam it everywhere.
We're getting there. All right. I will definitely do that. All right. Sorry. How about you?
I'm in far too many places. All of my stuff is aggregated at errantpenman.com. You can find me in my inconsistently named twitter.com/Ethan McPhee, ETHAMMACFIE. Everything shows up there as well. I write for MMOgames.com, MMORPG.com. I've got a bunch of side projects like Tamriel Foundry for ESO, Ashen Foundry for Ashes of Creation, and recently, I also stream. Sometimes I'm on twitch.tv/Isarii. I'm just going to do everything this time. I've got a whatever the fuck mixer is called now as well, also /Isarii. And you can find me at youtube.com/c/Isarii, where I have for some reason started making YouTube videos. And that's probably where more of my content is ending up now because I found it fun. I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think so. I saw Simriel over there counting on her fingers all the stuff. Now you know my pain. Like, at one point in the time, I felt like it was Game of Thrones doing his herald here. You know, he had more titles than Daenerys.
She's the Queen of the North.
Queen of the North.
Yeah. You can find her defending Quaggans and not finishing legendaries.
Get out. Just go.
Ouch! I felt the burn on that one.
It's rude. was very rude.
All right, Simriel, where can people find you and all that fun stuff?
Hey, she does have a Twitter.
I do have a Twitter at Simriel. That's about it.
SYMRAEL.
Yes.
She tweets about food and dogs.
And yep. And
Dogs are
sometimes
worth it though.
Boggins.
That's what I do. Dogs are my babies.
I don't. Yeah. Anyway. All right. You can follow me, Aggelos, at Aggelos_WF on Twitter. Follow everything we do, DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com. That's the best place to go to find all of our links to everything, our Twitch, our Facebook, our Twitter, multiple Twitter accounts that we have. YouTube, youtube.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork, where the video version of this can be found once I get through editing the thing. And, all that fun stuff. So we just check us out over there. It's awesome. And that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dungeon Crawlers. We will be back in 2 weeks with another episode. We will see you later, guys.